It's the NFL Print Factory Show, Wednesday edition. We're talking week 14. Geez, week 14, I think. I don't even know if I'm sure on that. I'll fact check myself in a second, but I got to bring in my boys, and we finally got a full crew because our boy ODB is back, and I got to bring him in the one hole. What's up, ODB?
We're back. World Series is over, and, decided to come back for some football action. Thanks for holding down the fort without me. Sorry I missed a few weeks, but it's my busy season. Played poker pretty much nonstop for the last 45, 60 days. And so now you got me most weeks. Can't promise every week. The poker action's still pretty intense here in Vegas. So still got to go when the job calls. But you got me most weeks, so I'm glad to be back, and hoping you get me right back on track because I've been getting killed in DraftKings. Doing well betting still, but DraftKings been torture, so I need some fresh takes from the guys.
All right, well, we'll try to provide it. It's good to have you back on this show. I know I can speak for the whole crew. We've definitely missed you. I know the people love you too. The people always ask.
People miss him more than we do. We get those tweets and stuff every week. Like, where's ODB? You guys pick all the losers. They get all over us.
I mean, they love him, so I get it. But obviously, Big T bringing himself into the show. What's up, Big T? How's your night going?
It's going great now that I see you three. I feel really good. I'm going to throw this out there. I feel really good about us finishing this NFL season with a bang. ODB said he's been struggling, DK. I haven't had the best season for sure. I've struggled. I think we're going to close with a bang, though. I finally got my final seat Monday night. We're going to ship this thing. We're going to get things going. I'm calling it right now. Us four, we're getting the momentum turned. The next mainly the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're going to crush.
Well, you know what we have crushed is the Showdown contest.
The Showdowns have been good. The main slates haven't been good.
I'll tell you right now, the Showdowns are turning, Tony. You know what that means. The next is the main slates. The main slates are going to turn for us. We're going to catch some good run. We're going to catch the RunPure wave, and we're going to ride it all the way through this friggin' year and finish, like you said, with a bang. I got to bring in my guy Dunkel, though, leading the bet side to victory. Dunkel, how was the bets weekend?
It was a good weekend bets wise, but I wouldn't be on brand if I didn't talk about how I did.
Your losers. How many losers do you have last week?
No, I'm not going to talk on the bets. I did cost my guy Tony some money this weekend, and I do take accountability.
No one's taking accountability for that.
I'll take some accountability too.
You gave him good advice. How are you taking it?
No, I just gave him the dude, you're going to
Don't start talking about this again. Stick with the NFL. I don't want to talk about this.
All right, that's fine. Tell us your losers. Just give us the loser you gave.
Good weekend in the NFL, once again. It's college football that's been sticking it up my ass.
All right. So, what's your record? 60-55 and someone's mad at you?
That dude was calling you out last week.
Where's he
ODB,
at? Where's that guy at? I forget
ODB, did you watch the show? So Dunkel, he's up a couple units on the season. Nothing insane, but he's up. It's week 14. He's up money plus units. Right. Some dude was just destroying him on the show. Imagine bragging about being up 2 units or whatever he said. And we're is it a problem to be up money in week 14? What do you got to freaking be up 100 units to be proud?
Yeah, I mean, there's trolls everywhere. I mean, I post my picks on Twitter every Saturday night, and I mean, I pretty much won. I think I don't even know what week we're in. 13, probably won 10 or 13 weeks or something, maybe even more. And you have that 1-4. You missed that one game. Last week I went 4-1 the Super Contest, and it's oh, how'd you have them? It's that was pretty obvious. It's okay, yeah. Sometimes you miss.
Great pick on that one loss, idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
always after the game too.
Yeah, whatever though. We got to ignore those people because the fact of the matter is I get more positive comments than negative ones, and I'm sure you guys do too. And there's just always people who are going to be unhappy. So fuck those guys. They watch anyway. They watch and listen and do it. So I mean, whatever. I mean, let them get out here and put themselves on the line every week. But we're not in it for the negative people. Let's be in it for the people who are positive and appreciate what we do and are rooting for us and let's throw some winners out there, figure out where we're going this week. Because I've found as the weeks have gone on that it's been harder and harder for me to identify, smash spots. And I think that's one thing that I've done really well in the contest for the last couple of years is early in the seasons, really identifying before the market picks up. And then kind of as everyone catches on and teams change, like kind of missing some adjustments maybe and not fully capitalizing on some spots that may be out there. So let's see if we can identify some good ones this week.
All right, we're going to try and do that before we get into the winners, which we'll get into shortly. I just have to remind you guys to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. That red little box in the right-hand corner you'll see is the subscribe button. Click that. Get your notifications every time we go live for these free shows, which we do pretty much every single day, Monday through Friday. And then obviously on Sunday, we got the Wood Show. So we got a ton of content, ton of live shows. And then if you want to sign up for RunPure Sports, RPS Heater 25 is still available. Get you 25% off your first monthly subscription. And that'll get you access to not just the premium live shows, but also the core plays, the playbook. Core plays, pretty much our favorite plays from our main teams, and you'll get them for every sport. One price for every sport, and you'll get them for everything. MMA. Title does a great job on the playbook. He has his cores. I know Big T drops his cores. Even though he's not an MMA expert, he loves to dabble in his MMA, and he loves to ship it from time to time. NFL, NCAA, college, football, basketball. We've got playbooks, core plays for every single sport you can think of. And then obviously, if you want to add the bets, it's just an extra like $20. So just add that bet side. You'll get all the picks from the boys. Dunkel, Spread does a great job on NBA. Also, Spread drops great free videos on the RunPure Bets YouTube channel almost every day, Monday through Friday. So make sure you check those out. And then, Tyler does a great job with the props. Keg, MMA, NASCAR, football crushes those sports. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Joey Work with baseball and, just crushes everything. He pretty much bets. So MMA too. Joey Work is awesome at MMA. So make sure you check all those guys out. But yeah, RPS Heater 25 gets you 25% off. Check out all the premium content we got. All right, boys.
I got one more thing to say about last week, too, because I always talk about these teasers. I know people make fun of me. Last 2 weeks, though, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0 again last week. So I know people make fun of them, but they just keep printing, Dunkel. I mean, 5-0 again, and I'm looking at the games, which we had last week. None of them were even close. Cardinals, Washington, Rams, Chiefs, Patriots.
You didn't have Vikings in that? You didn't have Vikings in there?
Somehow I must not have. It wasn't on the – what were they? Oh, because they were 7. I never do the 7s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I got lucky there because I did bet the Vikings, but they weren't
one of the
on that
stupid-ass team.
When you bring up a good point, Tony, Longs have been excellent as long as you've been avoiding 7s, and you always avoid 7s.
Yeah, I mean, I think 7 is the worst. I say it every week on the show, but I think 7 is the worst teaser. I just do. You got to get that. It doesn't seem like a lot, just that extra half, but – for whatever reason, it's just, well, this year especially, it's helped me a ton.
We need that extra half. 7's terrible. Remember that, people. Just remember.
At least this year it's proven.
I'll tell you right now, the guy has been talking about this on every football show I've done with him since we've been at RunPure. He believes in it. He does it too. He bets it every week. Like, at this point, I just trust him. You
guys say I never talk about myself, and I don't talk about it, but these teasers mainly, I know it's mainly the teasers. I mean, I'm up over 100 units tracked on the sheet, and it's like almost all teasers, just sticking with this system because I know it's not straight up bets. I'm not crushing the straight up bets. So if you've played these teasers all year, I guarantee you're up a bunch of money no matter how much you're betting on it.
I mean, Tony, you don't have like 10 max bets going at once?
I'm not 10 max bets going.
All right. I was trying to get you there. Up 100 units. Dunkel, you just plug after I say you're like 60 and 55, Tony just throws in, yeah, I'm up 100
Dunkel's
units.
way better than me at betting. I'm just the teaser guy. I want to be known as the teaser guy, the Wongs. I'm good with that.
Hey, that's it, Dunkel.
I just wake up and put one foot in front of the other and, You guys know what I'm talking about.
Tony just wakes up and put his ball bag right on Dunkel's
Get into
head.
these winners. I shouldn't have even brought it up. Get into these winners.
All right, let's talk about it here. We can talk the Thursday night game real quick. If you want more analysis, we're going to do a show tomorrow. Actually, a free show too. 6 p.m. It's been decided. 6 p.m. We're going to give a free Showdown breakdown with me, Tony, Tambo, maybe Hoop as well, where we'll break it down even more. But we can just talk about it real quick. We can get ODB, Dunkel's perspective on the game, guys, because it should be an interesting one. And Dunkel, I want to start with you because
we need a freaking tweet to go out about this show too. They never send a tweet about the Print Factory. ODB just asked me to send one, but I don't even. I'm trying to find one to retweet here.
Where's Mangone at when
Mangone, where you at? We need a tweet. I'll just send one with the link. I'll send an old school basic one.
I'll call Mangone after I get this game out. But
is it week 14?
Yeah, it's week 14. So let's start with you here on this game. Steelers, Vikings, -3 at home. 43.5 is the total here. And I know I heard some quick thoughts on this game before we went live, but give the people your thoughts real quick. And if you have a lean on this game.
Yeah, first of all, very happy to have ODB back. It is nice to have another individual that we can all knob slob on the show. Makes it a little less my way and a little more other people's ways, which I'm all for. As for this game, yeah, at 43.5, I like the under full game. I also think you could probably take Roethlisberger's passing touchdowns under 2 or 1.5 at 110. So fair price there. To me, this is all about the Vikings' lack of continuity offensively, the drop off from Thielen, potentially, obviously, no Cook as well. So offensive line also hasn't seen a pass rush like this in a few weeks. And then there's the Kirk Cousins primetime narrative, if you buy into that. And I'll tell you what, if you're into large sample size, that sample's a little too large to ignore how poorly he performs in these primetime games. I mean, even the one he won last year, I don't think he did much until like the fourth quarter. And then, they kind of had this like miraculous win. But again, so they're home. I'm also worried about like what that locker room's like right now. Like this team is not a 5-7 team. I don't know. It feels like Zimmer's like lost them as a team. Kirk Cousins is having arguably his best year of his career, and this team is 5-7. They have too much talent to have the record they do. And we've already talked about how they've led in every game except for this recent Lions game by a touchdown or more, and they still have more losses than wins. So from a narrative perspective, I'm a little worried about the morale of this team coming into this game. I do think this is a very winnable spot for them, though, against this Pittsburgh team. And on the Pittsburgh side, this offense does not travel. Okay, under the Ben Roethlisberger regime, this offense does not travel very well. And the numbers back that up. And look, for Pittsburgh on their end, when they play teams that want to shoot, they can score. I'm just not into the idea that Minnesota is going to pile up points in this spot. And, Pittsburgh has been like one of the worst first half scoring teams in the NFL. And if this game is close at half, like a 10-10-ish kind of game, I'd expect the second half to play just as slow, conservative. While Minnesota's not out of the playoffs, they're pretty close to out of the playoffs, but they still have a lingering chance. They have a few division games left in the year. They do play the Packers again. So this team isn't fully out of it. And Pittsburgh is certainly into the trenches where they can kind of steal a division, no pun intended. So overall, I like the under here in this spot. 43.5 feels big, which I don't think we would have said a few weeks back. But Pittsburgh's defense is getting healthier. Minnesota's defense is, believe it or not, getting healthier. And again, I think this is more of a defensive grind. You got 2 good field goal kickers as well. Don't think you're going to be seeing a lot of fourth and short opportunities. These teams get in field goal range. They're going to kick. Overall 43.5, like the under.
ODB, what do you think of the under here? Dunkel's pretty convinced that this game is going to be lower scoring. What about you?
I don't have a strong take on the total. He made a lot of compelling points. I always hesitate to take the under when in spots where I feel like the total's a little low and you've got game breakers on both sides. With Claypool, Deontay, Jefferson, Madison. You got guys who can break free and score. So that's always kind of something I don't love, but I don't really have a take on it. My main question is, why the hell does Mike Zimmer have a job? Like, right now. I would love the Vikings if he would have got fired on Monday. My main question is does it seem like this coach or not? Because this has been a pitiful coaching year by Mike Zimmer, and it was a pitiful performance on Sunday. And I don't think he's a bad coach, but I think his time there is done, and I don't understand why he still has a job. Pittsburgh, I don't really understand. This is just a team that, I don't know. I guess I feel like I've been wrong on a lot, but they have a couple of wins the last few weeks, but they've looked shitty doing it. That Ravens win was fraudulent as hell. The Ravens should have won that game. They should have covered. They got blown out by the Bengals. The Bears hung with them. I don't even know if this Pittsburgh team is good right now. And I think the Vikings are good, but they find stupid ass ways to lose all the time. So it kind of scares me. I'm leaning the Vikings, but I really wish Zimmer was gone. My only question is, does this team even care? And do they care about their coach? Do they care about this team? Do they care about anything? We know Tomlin keeps his team motivated, and we know Pittsburgh's going to try. So from a talent perspective and a team perspective, I think the Vikings are a pretty strong play for me, but I'm just a little scared of that fact. And I am interested. I've been doing horrendously in Showdown. So if you got any tips on that, I need to make sure I tune in every day for the damn Showdown shows. I've missed a couple of those.
If you want tips on Showdown, I'll say it again. We got a Showdown show for you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So don't miss it. We're definitely going to really talk the Showdowns, Tony. I don't want you to give too many nuggets away because we're going to talk this game heavily tomorrow. But just give us a quick peek into what you think of tomorrow's game.
Unmuted first, though.
Starting now on the mute is just a tough scene to come in with.
See it though.
But that is a rough start to the week. After I was saying the tide is going to turn, you can't come in on mute. Just terrible. But yeah, we got high standards after last Thursday. It was one of our best Showdown shows ever. We had whistles go on, give us the Cowboys defense against Taysom. Our membership's 500K. Great week last Thursday. So we got high standards tomorrow. We're going to do it again. But I agree with what ODB was saying. I like Minnesota. I think Pittsburgh is so fraudulent, and some of their wins. My only worry is kind of what ODB said too, where maybe we're just wrong and they're slightly better than we think. And some of their wins, I just can't believe I can't believe they're a 500 team or whatever their exact record is, 6-5, 7-6, whatever it is. Somewhere around 500. I just feel like they're so bad. I feel like Minnesota's underrated. I think we all like Minnesota more than Pittsburgh. The spread's 3. Zimmer, I think he's a great D coordinator. Not convinced he's a great head coach. He actually lives like 2 minutes from me too. So when he gets fired, I'll probably see him around here a little more with he does do good in the workbench department too, with a 25-year-old Maxim model or something as his lady. So good job there. Maybe he wants to spend more time at home. That could be the underlining theme. He might want to get fired just to have more time at home with her. So I like Minnesota tomorrow. We'll talk more on the Showdown, like JSU said on the show. Plus, we need to see Cook and the news on Cook tomorrow. But Minnesota for me, total, I don't know about the total. I don't have a strong feel, but I do like Minnesota a lot tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll just be really quick on this game because, like Tony said, we're going to talk about it a ton when we get to, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time. But all I'll say is Minnesota to me is one of those teams that they play to not win all the time. They don't just put people away. They just play it they play to lose. Like they don't finish games out. They always seem like they have way too much talent and then they always underperform. And maybe it is just the coaching. It might just be that easy where it's like, get Zimmer out of there. And because there's too much talent on this team. Justin Jefferson looks like the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. There's just way too much talent for these guys to be what they are. And that's just the case. Problem is I think Pittsburgh is a bad team. And Minnesota's defense was decimated last week against Detroit. If some of those linebackers don't play again, Pittsburgh could probably score. So, Dunkel, I'm actually going to be on the other side of your total bet if I had to lean.
Big Ben is so terrible.
You know what? He is terrible, Tony, but you know when he scores? When teams start to lay back. No, when teams start to lay back, i.e. the Chargers game. The Chargers are the same type of team. They have all this talent. I think the Chargers are way better than what their record shows, and it proved it in Cincinnati where they beat Cincinnati. And I was saying the Chargers were the better team. But my point is, I think they're the exact same team of almost Minnesota. They have all this talent and they don't put teams away. And maybe it's coaching, whatever it is, though. I think what you're going to see is Minnesota get up and then they're going to start to lay back, take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. And then what's going to happen? Big Ben's going to find some crazy way to drive them down the field, score a couple of times, and put more points up towards the end of the game than everyone's going to expect. And at the end of the day, they're going to be over the total, and it's going to be a closer game than it even should be, because Minnesota should win this game by more than a touchdown, and they probably won't. They'll probably end up finding a way to lose. And that's
if it helps you, JSU, both those linebackers are coming back for Minnesota.
That does help me a little bit for sure. Because you saw it. They attacked those tight ends down the seams right away, JJ. You saw how Detroit was attacking them. And so that's big. That's definitely going to help. But I still just feel the same way about this game as I think the Chargers-Pittsburgh game, where the Chargers just let them back in the game towards the end. I think you're going to see Minnesota do a similar thing here. So don't be surprised if you get like a backdoor cover that they end up getting over the total after a terrible first half. So
was the final play of that Minnesota-Detroit game the worst defensive play call in the history
what
of the
are they
NFL?
doing?
That was literally the worst play I've ever seen.
Minnesota went in a dime package from.
What were they doing?
They started at the goal line and then they backed up to 8 yards deep to prevent them from getting over the top.
I literally don't understand what
Minnesota put their corners in the stands for that play.
The guy literally just did it. He just ran into the end zone, turned around, and caught it.
He just did a curl in 3 yards deep in the end zone, and then two guys came and tackled him after he caught the ball.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
What did Minnesota do? What did those corners think was going to happen? The golf was going to throw it through the field goal.
That was pure insane. I mean, but literally, neither coach, defensive coordinator, or Zimmer should have been allowed back on the plane.
That was embarrassing.
Right. It's going to be a 6-hour show if we don't move on to a new game.
Let's move on, though. Good point. That was a bad play. All right, let's go to the main slate here. Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers. 2.5 is the spread here. Panthers at home. Favorites 42 is the total. ODB, I'm going to come to you on this first game of the main slate. Are we back in the Panthers here after what we've seen from them recently?
We're starting the show off on just a barn burner of a game. I don't know. Who is Cam, the Cam quarterback still? I don't know what the fuck's going on.
That's your boy, Cameron Newton.
Look, Cam's my boy.
Back. Just like ODB on this show, I'm back.
I mean, I love Cam for what he did for Auburn, but I mean, that guy is. I mean, what was that performance last week? 2 weeks ago when we all. I mean, I played him in DraftKings, and he just right up the old pooper. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with this game. I have no take. I mean, I think Atlanta is god awful. So I don't know. Carolina at least has a good defense. I don't know. I have nothing to say. I don't like this game at all. I don't like these teams. I don't like this game. I don't like these quarterbacks.
That's fair. I got you. Dunkel, ODB hates the game. I'm kind of with him because I've hated Atlanta all year, but I don't know how we can back Carolina after what we saw. And I hate Cam Newton. That's another thing. I am not a Cam Newton guy. The guy can't throw the ball past 20 yards without looking like he's going to throw his shoulder out of his socket when he friggin' does the I don't even know, that herky jerk throw that he does. It just drives me insane. So what do you think of Big Cam?
So very slight lean Falcons. And it's only purely because, I mean, how many times the rest of the season are the Panthers going to be favored by anything? This team sucks. Now, don't get me wrong, the Falcons, not that they're any better, but they're the team actually getting points in the spot. I look at it as, your best player. Well, I say your best player. I mean, Cordell Patterson has been remarkable for this team's offense somehow. Like, how does this guy get like missed by every coach for years about the way they utilize him in Atlanta? Because the dude just looks awesome, whether it's catching or throwing. I always love when a coach like Matt Rule, uses a scapegoat like Joe Brady. Like, first of all, Matt Rule saying that they need to run the ball 35 times is, what are they playing, NFL in the 1970s? I mean, I don't understand. I guess this happens and it wouldn't surprise me, ODB, because you mentioned the Vikings before with the Zimmer. You see like an OC get fired or something, like, to buy Zimmer a few more weeks. But yeah, I didn't understand that firing, and I don't know how the locker room is going to take that on the Panthers end. But I agree with you. Cam Newton is complete butt cheeks. Like, dude is, oof. I don't even know if is he still the starter? Because they brought in Philip Walker and he was just as bad. So, the game's a mess. There's good games to bet on. I'm not going to touch this one.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Tony, is this a pass game for you, or do you have a strong take?
I mean, just to keep the show moving, I don't see much. I mean, teaser game, though, 2.5 spread. Huh?
They fired your boy.
I know, and
Joe
I'm
Brady.
actually happy because I want him to go somewhere else. I've heard rumor. Where did I hear the rumor? Some college, Miami. How's he going to go to the U?
He's not going to Miami. Miami got a coach already.
I mean, the OC, a big OC. I heard the rumor was.
Why doesn't he go to Cincinnati and OC Burrow and Chase again?
Don't get me excited. Not get me
that's
excited.
Just like,
Woo.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, Brady was the hot commodity.
I still think he's incredible. Wherever he ends up, I think it's going to be. I've been talking him up for 2 years. I love him.
Could you imagine firing him when you gave him options like Sam Darnold, Cam Newton?
Yeah, you blame him for Cam Newton. Yeah. I hope he ends up somewhere good. I mean, what about Minnesota? If they fire Zimmer and get him, I think Minnesota would be a good fit for him.
He's not going to be a head coach in the NFL right now. I mean, he will be one day. He can take over. He can take over a college program. I mean, for sure. There's
wherever he goes, I'm going to like it. I'll say that. OC, wherever.
I agree with you. I think the chemistry with Burrow and Chase
be awesome.
makes so much sense in Cincinnati. I mean, I don't know who the OC is now, but I mean,
it doesn't matter. It could be anybody, and I'll take Brady.
I agree.
Yeah.
So someone in the chat says who's the play caller now? I'm pretty sure it's the running back coach.
That's when you answer. It doesn't matter.
I mean, you got Cam Newton.
I'm just saying, though, it's like the running back coach.
I mean, what is it? It's Amir Abdullah and Chuba Hubbard and Cam Newton. I mean, I don't know. I'll probably like the Falcons thinking about this. I mean,
teaser game. Just take them in a teaser. Tease them up through the 7.
If the Panthers win by like 8 or 9, I mean, there needs to be an investigation. Like,
I don't. Yeah, it's not with Cam back there. No chance.
Yeah, no way. Let's move. Oh, Tony, DFS plays. Anything here?
Nobody. Yeah.
Cam.
Nobody. Okay. Definitely not Cam. I can't do it.
Post hype sleeper Cam Newton.
Flop lag. Get the flop lag on Cam.
All right, let's move on then, because there's obviously no plays. Let's go to the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team. 4.5 point spread. Cowboys favored. 48 is the total in this game. Games in Washington. Dunkel, coming to you first here for this game. You liking the Cowboys in this spot, or we going with Washington at home?
So in most scenarios, this total is definitely low at 48 for these two teams. However, the Dallas offense is like so difficult to watch these days because there's so much talent. And like the only thing that separates them is big plays from CD or big plays from Pollard. If they're not getting them, they're not scoring points. Zeke has become a $90 million pass blocker, and Amari Cooper has obviously been in and out. Dak still, they still don't think Dak's 100%. This is a sneaky spot for Washington. It might not be sneaky, I guess, depending on the ass, but this team's won 4 in a row. They're at home. They have all the confidence in the world. Dallas is coming to town out of sorts. To me, this is a big game for Washington. And I don't know why the schedule ended up this way, but like Washington has 5 games left and they're all division games. 2 of them are against Dallas. 2 of them are against Philly. One of them is against the Giants. His team has like all the opportunity in the world to actually win this division. Look, it goes without saying, they win out, they're going to win a division. Obviously, that's a large step up. But I guess what I'm getting at is this Washington team has no reason to back down in this spot, even mentally. If anything, they should be looking forward to this spot. But, I guess powers be, you're getting a Dallas team coming in limping and a Washington team coming in their high. Most scenarios, this line would probably be upwards of 7. But because of that, that's why this line is 4. But all things considered, based on how the two teams are playing coming in, I would lean the under, but I can't bet it because this number just feels so low for the output you can get from these two teams. So I'll likely pass this game. This should be a good DFS game because you're going to have options from both sides. So I'm interested in what you guys have to say.
Yeah, ODB, do you agree here with Dunkel that the total kind of seems a little low for these two teams? What do you think?
Yeah, probably. I'm just going to talk about the game itself, though. And these two teams, Dallas was a team I was on early this season. I thought they were very underrated. I thought they were very good. I thought the market continued to undervalue them, and I continued to pound them. Feels like the market is somewhat caught up with them as they're starting to play worse. So I don't like them as much. And the football team kind of started out where the market loved them, and now they're playing well, and the market doesn't seem to like them. I don't really understand this line, to be honest with you. So we're talking 4.5 in Washington. So you're telling me let's just be conservative and give 2.5 points home field advantage each way. So, you take 5 points and you throw it on. If this game was in Dallas and you're telling me this is a 9.5, 10-point line, I don't see this as a 10-point line. I know home field advantage isn't what it used to be, but I don't know. I think there's value on this Washington team. This game feels sort of coin flippy, with Dallas being the slight edge in the coin flip. I think 4.5 seems too many to me. I feel like this is a close game, and Heineken's shown some balls. He seems to be really playing well. The defense is playing a lot better since Young got lost this season. And I feel like this team kind of has some renewed life. I like this Cowboys team in the past. I'm going to like them in the future. I think that they right the ship sooner than later. I'm just going to kind of hope it's not this week. I think that the spread's a little off here, and I think it should be below 3. I'm handicapping it a little below 3 personally. So I'm going to take the free points that spread the important numbers of 3 and 4, and probably take the football team in this one. From a DFS standpoint, there's a lot of plays. I haven't really dove deep into the pricing to know values, but Terry McLaurin might get a little, he had a bad week against the Raiders, so this might be a good time to jump on him. And, obviously all the Dallas guys are always in play. So.
Yeah, Tony, ODB seems to feel like there's some value on this line for the Washington team at 4.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I've been on Washington kind of all year. I'm high on Washington. I agree with ODB. I hate to just agree and not disagree. And I'm sure we'll disagree as some of the games come along, but I love Washington. Dallas has looked broken to me the last month, really, until they get Zeke out of there. I just think their offense is going to keep sputtering. They just don't. Zeke's hurt and he sucks, and Pollard's their best player. So it makes no sense to me. I think Washington I agree with everything he said, so there's no reason for me to really repeat it. The only thing DFS-wise, though, I'm done with McLaurin. I've tried to make him happen 4 or 5 times. He just doesn't do it for me in this price range at $7K. He would be the only guy, though. I don't think I'm going to go to Gibson. I think this game might play a little slower, and I don't know. I like the under a little bit, Washington. DFS-wise, though, unless we somehow were to get a break and get Zeke somehow out or something, which I don't think is going to happen, I just don't see it. There's too many dudes. There's 3, 4 receivers. There's 2 running backs. There's tight ends. And it's not the greatest spot in Washington. I'm just off. I don't really see myself going anywhere here outside of betting Washington and maybe the under.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Dak's numbers away from home are really bad. 7 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. You look at all the other numbers too. It's just all bad. He's been much better at home this year. So maybe that's something else you could throw out there. I do love picking on the Washington secondary. But I kind of agree with you, Tony, that like now with Gallup healthy and, they got 2 running backs now, it seems, even though Zeke will still get a little more than the share, but Tony Pollard's definitely the more talented back. I've been saying this for a while now. Most people should know this by now. But Zeke's hurt.
Zeke
so
got the contract. Pollard was better when they paid Zeke $100 million.
Yep. I think though the Dallas defense, I like the Dallas defense. I think it's a really good defense. And for fantasy, it's a great defense because what they do really well is get turnovers. And when you're looking for defenses, you want defenses that make plays. And Taylor Heineke is one of those quarterbacks where sometimes he just tries to do a little too much. Now, there are certain games this year where he has picked his spots really good, but certain games where he'll just try and do a little too much. And if he does that against this Dallas team, I could see him turning the ball over a couple times. I wouldn't be shocked if the Dallas Cowboys defense was on a winner here. So I kind of like the Cowboys a little more than you guys, but I definitely like their defense. I have a lot of respect for their defense. I think it's a good defense, but also
defense
good
is good fantasy wise because they take chances too, which is why a good reason to like them.
That's why I like them. Yeah, perfect. But I do think they're a good defense too. I don't think they're a shitty defense. I just like that they take chances though, for sure. And Sweat's gone. That's another defensive guy that's lost for Washington that hurts them a little bit. So just something to add.
I will ask, why the Washington secondary was awful. People were throwing on them like crazy. Then all of a sudden they shut down Brady. They shut down obviously they shut down Carr last week. It was supposed to be an offensive explosion. And DK,
Wilson.
They couldn't get DK the ball. So,
Wilson.
At some point you've got to just say, maybe the team is better than maybe they've improved. Maybe. This is one thing that I really have tried to do the last couple of years is understand that there's multiple seasons within a season in football and not just getting tied to what, Miami was one of the worst 5 teams in football for the first 4 weeks of the season, first 6 weeks of the season, but they're not that team anymore. So we can't just continue to view them how they were 6 weeks ago. Washington had a terrible secondary. And, we were picking on them for the first half of the season, but that's not the secondary we've seen now. So maybe they figured something out. Maybe they got somebody in there. Maybe they figured out something that they were doing wrong, that they were getting exploited on. I don't know, but all I know is this team has looked better the last few weeks on the back end. So I'm just going to trust that over, something that happened in NFL years. 6 weeks ago is ancient history.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ron Rivera has always been a great defensive mind too, so that could have something to do with it.
Hold on, time out. Just to push back on this a little bit, the last 3 quarterbacks they faced were Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, who looks like a shell of himself and doesn't want to play for Pete Carroll, and then Derek Carr, who Tony shits on almost every time.
Yeah, and you suck off every week.
And,
you put his balls
Derek
in your
Carr
mouth.
Didn't have Darren Waller.
Oh,
so let's
you can't go both ways on the Raiders.
Let's just be a little easy here.
You stroke off to the Raiders.
And Brady the week before.
And Brady the week before. Yeah.
But regardless,
they still gave
Carr
up
in a
29.
50 total, Russell Wilson and Brady. You can't push back on them there. I'm not accepting
They still gave up 29 though, didn't they?
Who? The Raiders?
Did I miss weeks of this show, Tony? At what point did JSU navigate from the Super Bowl Browns to the Super Bowl Raiders?
He's always been on the Raiders.
It's ever been since the first Showdown show of the week where Tony shit on my one play and he ended up being the guy who caught the game-winning touchdown at the end.
You did get so freaking lucky in that too. They ran 0 coverage and Zay Jones just runs a fly pattern.
It was so good. I was telling Tony, he was like, I don't know, like $400 or something like that. And I was telling Tony, like, he could get in there and just catch one deep ball, and he did it at the very end of the game. It was such a good
the funny
backdoor
thing
win.
Zay Jones is still $400 on Showdowns, and they don't have Henry Ruggs and
and he plays 100% of the snaps and still gets nothing.
Still gets nothing.
It's
Zay
insane.
It's
Jones,
nothing.
Zay Jones wouldn't start for my co-ed flag football.
He's the new, what was that New England guy? Hogan? What was that dude's name? He's the new Hogan. Just plays the whole game and does
I'm out
nothing.
though, Tony. You were trying to talk me into playing him on this show last week. ODB must not have watched that show. You were trying
I
to talk
missed
me into him.
I did like the Raiders stacks last week, and they did not work out for me, so I'm going right away from them again.
Just flipping. Just Tony's a flip flopper. Everyone. He just flips between them. All right.
Raiders are so bad.
All right. Whatever. That's enough. Antonio Gibson has looked really good. Tony, do we have any? I don't have any interest.
Depends
here,
on if McKissick's back. I think McKissick will be back. I'm not gonna. I don't see myself playing Gibson this week.
You would
Unless
think
something
McKissick would
changes.
be back
Yeah.
after last week. So yeah. I mean, if he's not, he's still 6K. So.
If McKissick's out, then I would have interest in Gibson for sure.
All right, cool. Let's move on to the Raiders-Chiefs game, which is going to be one of the bigger games of the week, just because, Pat Mahomes, Chiefs games, they're always going to be popular. They're always going to get ownership in DFS. They are at home, 9.5-point spread here. Chiefs are obviously favored. 47.5 is the total. ODB, I'm coming to you first on this one. It's just like a Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill smash spot. Like, you think the Chiefs just roll here? What do you think?
I mean, I had them big against the Raiders when everybody was piling on the Raiders. The week that now the Kansas City Chiefs are back, everybody says because of this game.
Loved them that week, just for the record.
I like them. I like them every week, right, Tony? I'm the only person who doesn't mind the Raiders, like on this show. Everyone else makes fun of the Raiders.
In the words of Dunkel, the Raiders are ass cheeks.
They're so bad.
But I don't know. I mean, everybody thinks the Chiefs are back, but are the Chiefs really back? I mean,
I don't think they're back for the record. They've looked so bad too.
They had that one game versus the Raiders, but I mean, the last 4 or 5 games, they scored 19 on Dallas, 13 on Green Bay, 22 on Denver with a pick six. I don't really know. I mean, I think this game is going to be highly owned. I think everybody's going to pile on the Chiefs. DFS wise, I mean, they're scary. They can always break the slate, but I don't know. I think I'll probably stay off this high-owned team in DFS. I don't really have a take for the game. 9.5 points is a lot. I don't like the Raiders at all, but on the flip side, I don't really know what I think about this Chiefs team right now. So what is this glasses thing? Oh, okay, never mind. It's a glare. I thought you had shades on, JSU, but it was just a glare.
No,
I don't have
I got shades on.
Okay, I don't have a strong take on the game. I'd probably I'd probably lean on the under if I had to pick a bet in this game, just because the Chiefs' defense has been playing well, and the Raiders' offense is ass cheeks, and the Chiefs' offense is kind of assy as well. So I'd probably like the under. I don't really have a strong take on the game.
Yeah. All right. That's fair. Even though you shit on the Raiders. So I was expecting you to take the 9.5 points with the Chiefs and just shove it right down. But that's fine, ODB. I'll let you slide there. Dunkel, what do you think of the Chiefs here? Is it a smash spot?
Yeah, I think if this dips down 8.5, I think you can once again tease it. We saw this happen last week or on Sunday night where, money came in the other end with the Broncos, I think, and it slid to 8.5, teased it down instantly. If this gets to 8.5, to me, this will be an easy teaser pair. Win or lose, ODB said it, this defense, I'm not saying this Kansas City defense is as good as what we've seen, but it's pretty obvious that they certainly weren't as bad as what we saw earlier in the year, somewhere in between. And I think that, you have a defense that's playing as good as they've played all year, and you have an offense in the Raiders that's looked arguably as bad as it's looked all year coming in. Now, granted, the NFL is that type of league where these kind of switches get hit in these types of games. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I agree. The under makes sense. The problem for why I can't fire on the under is these two teams have played each other obviously twice a year for the last few seasons, and there has not been a total that's been this low when these two have gone up against one another. Now, Darren Waller is probably going to be out, I think. That does impact this, in my opinion.
I think he might be back, actually.
if he's going to be back, to me at least, you might find a little more life in this Vegas offense. But this will be a spot I only target a tease option if Kansas City gets to 8.5. Other than that, I will likely stay away from this one because again, I think that yes, there's enough data to say that this should go under 48. But if you're not valuing your preseason data or any of your data prior or any of your priors for that matter, this is a low number, all things considered. So I'll stay away with arrows going in different directions for me, but I will tease it if it gets to 8.5.
All right, Tony, what do you think of this game? Is this the Chiefs spot, or are you going to – I know you're not going to be on the Raiders, so I shouldn't even say that. Are you going to bet the Chiefs, or are you passing?
Nah, yeah, I like the under in this spot, actually. I mean, I just don't see the Chiefs really pushing the ball. And I mean, the Raiders team total is 19 and a half. I don't see them getting in the 20s. No way. So really the only way I see it going over is if Kansas City just goes off. And I just don't think they really have it in them. I think the upside was the last time they played the Raiders. A lot of people are going to see that this week with DFS, and they're going to think they're just going to go out and crush again. I don't necessarily see that. And I love a few of the other games similar to this as we go through the slate. So believe it or not, I'm going to be off this game for the most part, DFS wise. And betting, I would not bet the Raiders, but I also don't like giving this many. So I'm with the uncle. Hopefully it gets to 8.5 and I can tease it because I would love doing that. I mean, that would be very, very, very strong play.
8.5 popped at FanDuel.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might literally lock it in tonight as we're doing this show. I might even put it up on the bet sheet right now just to get it in because I have a feeling it doesn't stay 8.5 for super long. So we might get these in. I don't usually put teasers in early in the week, but with this one, we're not really risking anything because it's not going below 7.5. So it's almost a free roll to put this in early. We can always pivot out later in the week. So actually, I'm glad Dunkel said that. I'm going to do that tonight. Fantasy-wise, though, I'm going to take a strong fade here, and I don't really see myself playing anything because as we get to these later games, I like a lot of plays in these price ranges.
Yeah, this was the game. I think it was a showdown slate, Tony. Might have been Sunday night. I remember because I was talking about it with all you guys on the Sunday night show that we do, 7, 8 o'clock. On Sunday night, every night. The boys are always on, Rubio, Bobby, Mangone, and we jump on sometimes. And I remember saying, Mahomes has to check down more against this team. And this was the night that Darrell Williams caught 9 receptions on 9 targets for 101 yards. I don't know if you remember, too, he caught that sick, long touchdown. That was pretty cool. But they were dumping, Mahomes was just taking what the defense gave him, and he was dumping off a ton. And they were doing screen passes and all this stuff that they weren't doing because Mahomes was always trying to take his shots. If he does that again, they're just going to easily move the ball down the field. The Raiders have no answer unless they want to change their defense up. And they didn't change their defense up pretty much at all that entire game. And they couldn't slow them down. So if they're not going to do it and they lose 41-14, who knows? Maybe they decide, you know what, that didn't work after a whole game of trying it. Let's do something different. But you can't just let Mahomes sit there and you rush 4 and get no pressure because the Raiders blitz the least amount in football. That's another thing. So you're going to sit there and let Mahomes just scan the field for however long. And then just if he wants to run or check down, that smells like a bad idea for a team that can't get pressure with 4 on Mahomes. And that's what was happening last time. That's why he had all this time to look downfield and then dump it off. If they do that again, they're going to lose 41-14 again. The only way they can have a shot is if they can run the football efficiently. And the Chiefs have been decent against the run for a lot of this year. So I'm not going to bet this game. And I'm kind of with you, Tony. I might just take a stand and fade it DFS wise and just hope it is. I honestly hope it is a 30, to 10 game or something like that, where maybe the Chiefs get there, maybe a running back gets there, but I'll just fade it. The rest of the guys are expensive where, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, they can always go off, but, we'll see. But I just don't love it. So I'm going to stay away. And let's move on because we got plenty to talk about. Reminder, guys, hit that like button. I noticed that we've doubled in viewership since that tweet went out. And that's telling me that maybe some of you guys aren't subscribed. So hit that subscribe button at the bottom right-hand corner, that red box. Hit that button, get you notified every single time we go live. So hit that. It's very easy to do. And you'll get all this free content that we come out with every single day pretty much. Let's move on. We got the New Orleans Saints and the New York Jets. Tony's favorite game that we're going to talk about on the slate because it's got his boy Taysom Hill starting. And 5.5-point favorites here for our boy Taysom, Tony. I'm coming to you first. 42.5 is the total here. We laying it all on Taysom this week?
They didn't price him up. I mean, he's 5,600 against the Jets, who we've talked about every week on this show. You go to the flow charts, they cannot stop the run. They're by far the worst team against the run. We got, I think Ingram got ruled out today, right?
I think he got placed on COVID this year, didn't he?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's out, and
I think Kamara's going to play though.
Kamara is for sure going to play.
Well, I don't know for sure, but I think he's trending towards play.
I think he's in, like, officially. Okay. He was a full participant in practice on Wednesday. They took the tags off of him. I think he's going to be a go.
So that's like a dream to me because at receiver, they're obviously short with our boy Deontay, who came through for us last Thursday in the clutch in the fourth quarter. He's out. They got one more dude out too. I forget who the other dude. Maybe it was
Stills
just Ingram.
Got waived.
Oh yeah, Stills. You said got waived. Ingram out. So hopefully Kamara plays, and I think you can do a little 3-man Kamara. I don't usually like Kamara with Taysom, but against the Jets, who literally they just get carved for fantasy points, destroyed for fantasy points. Those two, and then I know JSU was talking about it on the Showdown, but little Jordan Humphrey, 3,200. You get just such a discounted stack. 3 guys against the Jets for such a discounted price. Even Kamara at 7,900, I consider a significant discount for this matchup. Again, you go to the flow chart. The flow charts worked for us the last month too. Even though we haven't crushed the main slates, some of these plays have been awesome. And the Jets just hemorrhage points against the run. So Taysom, Kamara, Little Jordan, and then you can run it back easily with Elijah Moore, who's looked awesome. So I love that. As far as the actual game, New Orleans is pretty dusty for New Orleans. I mean, they're less than a touchdown favorite. I don't have a strong feel for the actual game, but fantasy-wise, I don't know how it gets better than Taysom versus the Jets. I really don't. So that's my opinion. I'm going to play a ton of Taysom, take my chances. As long as his hand checks out. We gotta make sure his hand checks out, which I think it will.
No, he's good, Tony.
Yeah.
No, he's good. Okay. He's going to play through the finger issue. He's tough, dude. He's the guy. He's like bleeding all over the place. He's still going out there. If
you're playing NBA too, Paul George just got rolled out.
Well, doesn't matter now. Most people's slots it's 10 o'clock. So
yeah.
What's that game?
Did that game start at 10? I thought it started at 10:30.
Well, I don't know, but the other 2 games started at 10.
I mean, I don't have any. It's not going to change anything I got.
That game starts at 10:30, but the other game's already started. So hopefully you can pivot somewhere in that game if you had Paul George.
Yeah, I can't. I'm sure no one played him hardly, but yeah.
Probably not. ODB, what do you think of Taysom? I've never really gotten your take on Taysom. What do you think of him as a quarterback before you talk about this game?
I mean, I'm not Tony level, and I'm not a Taysom hater. He's just kind of there. He's fine. Like, I mean, he's going to be good in some matchups. I think he's competent. I don't know. I mean, I'm fine. I'm not extreme on Taysom one way or the other. He's just, I mean, he is what he is. He's a serviceable, decent running quarterback that is decent in fantasy in the right matchup, and he can give your team a chance to win. If you've got the other components. It's Wednesday, so obviously don't hold me to anything, but right now this is my favorite game on the board. I love the Saints in this spot. I mean, I lined up, I couldn't wait to fucking unload it on Gardner Minshew or Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders versus this Jets team. And I mean, I'm getting just as good a defense, if not better, with the Saints. I'm getting, I played Miles Sanders last week, and if Gainwell doesn't steal that fucking touchdown and he doesn't get hurt in the fourth quarter, I'm probably going to have like 170 and 2. So, I mean, I think the Jets are terrible. The Jets need to be getting at least a touchdown versus an average team. I think with Taysom and Kamara, I mean, the reason I've been fading the Saints the last couple of weeks is because they've been going against the Cowboys and the Bills. And I mean, I couldn't believe that the spreads were, under a touchdown. When you have no offensive weapons and you're going up against a team that can score a lot, it's hard to compete. When you have some offensive weapons and you're going up a team that can't score a lot and you have a great defense, I mean, this is just a smash spot to me for the Saints. I mean, this is the kind of game they win like 27-6. I mean, I think the Saints are really locked and loaded here. I love Taysom for fantasy purposes. Kamara, if he's 7,900 and there's no Ingram, I mean, I'm going to like that too. I don't know about Humphreys, but I love the Saints in this game. I love Taysom and fantasy. I'm not sure if he'll be my guy, but give me the Saints. This to
you
me,
love
I
the
feel
Saints, and you don't play Taysom this stack. I'm driving to Vegas.
I feel like, I mean, this line should be 8.5 to me. I don't really understand why this is the same line that Gardner Minshew laid. I mean, I guess some people think Gardner and Taysom are equals. I don't. I mean, and I think everything on the Saints is, a little bit better than Philly. So, I'm all in on the Saints.
All right, Dunkel, we got Taysom lover, all in on the Saints and ODB. What do you got for us? Any more Taysom stroking?
I think I'm going to add to it. The first of all, ODB, not into the Minshew jorts, I see.
No, I mean
Jorts.
To me, it'll likely be a bet I fire on. Just kind of wait to see the market and numbers. But the Jets under their team total, I mean, this has been one of the worst offenses all season. They have like a quarter of an offensive outburst against Philly, and then they go back to their roots for the rest of the game. I think the Saints are going to play a slug in this game in terms of they're going to – I agree, they're going to get their points, but they're going to likely have like 8 or 9 minute drives to get their points. It's just the way this offense runs through Taysom. But to Tony's point on their run defense, there should be plenty of gaps for them to run here in multiple ways. It looks like I know it's early in the week. I don't think I see Kamara on the injury report. I don't know if those aren't released yet or
he is not. Dunkel, looks like a go for Sunday as long as there's not.
So if he's going to play, that makes a big difference for this offense. And not to say like obviously certain players are never worth my flex guys more than 1.5, but Kamara is going to change the entire game plan of this offense. Him coming back makes a big difference. So I'm correlated on the same page, though I will likely just bet the Jets team total under in case you get one of these types of slugging type of game from the Saints that ends in a lot of field goal drives versus touchdowns. But I'd be hard pressed to believe the Jets are going to roll up 3 touchdowns against this team.
I think it's also sorry to interrupt, but I don't know if you guys ever bet like horses or dogs or anything like that, but I used to go to the dog tracks and, you're racing in like a C race. And then once you lose and you finish in the back of the pack enough times, you go down to a D. Like they've just played the Bills and in a dome, and they played the Cowboys indoors. And now they get to step and play like the Jets. Like the game is just going to speed up for them where like the level of competition is such a different variety. They're used to watching the game in such a faster motion, and the Jets are just so bad. So just the complete step down in competition. Like now all of a sudden this team is used to playing versus these juggernaut offenses. I mean, obviously Monday away, but I mean, I think we all think the Bills are probably, still a top echelon offense. And we know the Cowboys are. Now you're going up against literally a bottom 5 offense. Like this defense should just pounce on them. And like you say, I don't think the Jets are going to score. Just this Saints defense has been good versus these bad teams. So anyway, continue.
Yeah. On. I mean, I think the one thing, the way Sean Payton likes to execute his offense is the same way, no matter who he plays against. It's long sustaining drives where they get into third and short, and it's short passing plays. If you watch Drew Brees call the Saints game, I forget which week, if it was last week or the week before, he even talked about how it's just how he wants to play. It's how Sean Payton wants to call the game. He wants to put his quarterback in short third downs where the short passing game and the run game can be used. And it's almost like, which one are we going to do? But either way, that's how he likes to go get his drives. He wants long drives. That to me is telling, because against the Jets, I think they, like Dunkel said, can do this. And if they do it, they're going to score points, but it's going to slow this game down, and it's going to end up being one of those games where, like you probably said, the Jets probably don't have a great game scoring, but at the end, it's probably going to be like two guys that end up doing well, and Taysom's going to probably have a decent game on the ground. He's probably going to throw for a touchdown, maybe run another one in and have a good chunk of yardage on the ground. Kamara probably gets a touchdown, and then one of the random receivers scores. I don't think it's a game, though, where like I would be trying to stack this game up with like three guys and a run back and just hoping it. I don't think you see like a blowout. If anything, you play a cheap guy in Taysom, and you hope the cheap guy is the one guy he throws it to for the touchdown, i.e. Jordan Humphreys, or if you think Traquan or whatever. But I think that's the way you go about this stack. I think you're playing it more for Taysom's rushing upside. If you play him with Kamara, I think Kamara hurts Taysom's ultimate upside in a game that the Jets probably won't be competitive. If they were playing a better team, I would like Kamara more because I'd have more confidence that better team could keep the game competitive, where then I'd like Kamara, Taysom, and a receiver with a run back. But playing the Jets, I don't like playing the expensive player with Taysom as much because I think they take away from each other's upside. I'd pick one. So that's how I'm going to build my lineups. I'll pick one of those guys. If I play Taysom, I'll play a cheap tight end or receiver and just take my chances with them in a tournament. But that's how I'm building. I know Tony disagrees with me on that, but that's just how I play.
Disagree. I'm the one I'm the Taysom whisperer. They always play slow. Of course, I don't want to stack it. The game's going to play slow. Why would I disagree?
Oh, no, I meant about the Kamara, Taysom.
Oh, I never liked Kamara with them. Honestly, it's more of the Jets than anything. I just don't think the Jets – I think they're going to break off more big plays than you guys think. The Jets just have no defense. Believe me, I think this is the only team –
stack the box, and they're just going to force him to throw the ball, which I think he can still do.
I literally think this is the only team in football, though, that I would play Kamara with Taysom. I don't think there's another team. I think it's just the Jets. I really do.
That's fair.
We just got overtime in the Nuggets game, too. That's fun.
Ooh, Eric Gordon just got ejected, too, for anyone who's playing Eric Gordon.
God, I can't get enough of ODB's mirror back there staring at the bench. I mean, that's the goods.
All right, let's go. Let's get this game over with. Let's move on to the next one. We'll talk about the Baltimore Ravens and my Cleveland Browns. I'll still call them my Cleveland Browns.
Joe says, can you play the Jets D? We used that move last week with the Dallas. We're not going to the Jets D with Taysom, Joe. We're not doing it.
Here's the thing. Remember, Taysom made all those mistakes, a lot of them towards the end of the game.
Yeah, when they're
down.
Yeah, exactly.
The key thing, too, though, was it was Showdown, too. It's not a full slate.
They're not going to force the ball. He doesn't have to force the ball. Whereas the Jets, you want to play a defense against Taysom when he's forced to throw, not when he's running.
The best part is too, that Sean Payton wants Taysom to succeed so bad. He's going to put him in the ultimate best spots all the time where he does not have to look like that. Against the Jets, he is not going to be in a spot where he's going to look like that. I'll tell you right now. That's just not going to happen. So guaranteed he's going to score a touchdown on the ground and through the air.
You want to talk about a knob slob fest. I mean, Sean Payton, after he gets divorced or if he gets divorced, he's going to marry Taysom Hill. He talks about
him like man.
God.
I mean, Taysom's got to love him. I mean, literally that guy just gave him that. they gotta love each other. Like they just have to be best friends or something like that. Or Taysom's got some real like good stuff on Sean Payton that he's holding on him or something like that. Who knows?
The two of them probably 69 each other.
All right, let's get to my Browns here. I want to hear all the hate. -2.5. They're favored at home. Let's go, Browns. Browns Nation, stand up. No, I'm just kidding.
No one's standing up.
Here.
It's just you stand up.
I was about to stand up, but then I would have not been in the picture. So it's fine. I'll stay down. They get the Ravens, though, who Lamar Jackson, you can say what you want, has not looked great this year. Now, he has been sick a lot and he's missed a lot of practice.
The blueprint's out. The blueprint's finally out on old Lamar. You just blitz him and he can't handle it.
Blitz him, force him to throw the outside. I've been saying this for years. He struggles to throw to the outside. He always has.
Just to the outside?
No, like it's the numbers between him throwing in the middle of the field and him throwing the outside are really, really different. Even some of his deep throws are more towards the middle because he just can't throw to the out. He lofts the ball, Tony. Watch him throw a deep ball.
You don't have to tell me about him throwing. I know all about him throwing the ball.
Look at Josh Allen throw a deep ball. Josh Allen's like a laser. Like it's a fucking
You're preaching to the choir with me. I am not on the Lamar.
I'm just saying though, for people that don't get it, like this is why he fucking lofts the ball, and good quarterbacks don't loft the ball. RB1 throw a deep ball. Yeah, he is a good runner. All right, get back to this game though, because I don't want to go too far off track. We got to talk about the Browns a little bit here, boys. Who wants to talk about the Browns? Dunkel, I see it in your face. You like them this week. Tell me why.
The Browns are bound for the Super Bowl. Another windy.
I knew you were on my side, Dunkel. I knew it was hidden all along.
Another windy game expected in Cleveland, which isn't good for what we've seen from Lamar. I'll be honest. So I thought Lamar made some tremendous strides, and I think they were objective. Like, I don't even think it was subjective in his passing game. However, the last few weeks, I think he has to be hurt because you actually see him getting out of the pocket and like getting chased down by D linemen, and that like has never happened in his career. So I do think his passing is being hindered, but he's not. I don't know if he's not as fast as he was. I don't know if it's injury, what it is. But he's not evading like he once was, either in the pocket or out of the pocket. And look, Cleveland's getting healthier. Say what you want about this team and the year they've had. I mean, this team is still 6-6, and they've had some severe injuries. I don't understand how they're just rolling out Baker Mayfield's dead body every week.
Corpse, literal corpse.
Dude, like if you look at him, he's got like braces on everywhere. Like, he's like got bad knees, his elbows, the whole bit. Just put Case Keenum in. At least he can throw the football. I know he doesn't have the same upside, but just start Case Keenum. I don't understand, why that's not happening. But I think the Browns come off a bye this week, right? So maybe, it helps get them a little healthier. That O-line's getting healthier. Even their defense is getting healthier. I get why the spread is what it is. If I was going to bet this game, it would be the Ravens team total under, especially with the wind. But man, like the Ravens can accidentally score 20 points. And that's what their number is. So I'll stay away. But this should be an ugly game. Again, you're going to get one of those weird Cleveland wind games again. Because this figures to be one of them specifically. I mean, now they're showing reports of 25 or 30 mile an hour winds for that game. Not going to be anything like Buffalo, to be clear, but it's still going to be one of those ugly games. And you have two quarterbacks who are inaccurate. Figure this game slides under, but again, total this low with offensive playmakers that they have on both sides, specifically really on the Baltimore side. But I'll stay away, all things considered.
All right, ODB, shit on my Browns. I want to hear it.
Baker sucks. The Browns suck. I trust Lamar more than I trust Baker. If it's windy too, I mean, that just leads me to believe that Lamar is going to run the ball, which is the one thing he's good at. So, I mean, if it's going to be, Lamar and, all the old up washed running backs that they have, I don't know. I like them over. I just think the Browns are ass. I mean, I just don't like this Browns team at all right now. I don't like Baker at all. The one thing I will say from a DFS standpoint that I like, I mean, if the wind is out of control, then forget it. But I think Austin Hooper might be Austin Hooper. Is that his first name? Hooper might be a good play. There's no Harrison Bryant is out, and I think Njoku might not play because he's on the COVID list. The Browns have complete dust balls at wide receiver. So he does like to target the tight end. And the reason why you've kind of stayed away from Browns tight ends is because there's 3 of them. So I think Hooper is going to be like the main guy. I think I looked and saw he was like 3,400. So early on, I kind of thought that might be a sneaky good play that I don't think a lot of people will be on because his numbers aren't really that good this year. But with the elimination of the other targets, I think Baltimore's not that good against the tight end as well. So I could see Hooper being a nice little play in DFS at a cheap price tag. We're always looking for those cheap tight ends. So I like Hooper and I like the Ravens in this game.
And Jay brought up a good point from the chat. I didn't even mention, like, this Ravens secondary is decimated. Like they're like on their 5th stringers.
I was getting there. Yep. That's all right though. I'll go to Tony first and then we can talk about how bad the Ravens are. Tony, give us the breakdown here.
So first of all, this reminds me of Tampa when we watched them play Dallas in some of those early games where I said I want to pick on Tampa's secondary. And then they proceeded to not play a single quarterback, which we'll talk to again here later in the show. But they proceeded to play no quarterbacks for the next 8 weeks. Just no good quarterbacks against Tampa with their secondary. Now we get this. We get Baltimore. They went for 2. I wondered why they went for 2. Harbaugh said it's because they have no secondary, basically. They couldn't stop. I don't know if I agree with that, but they have no secondary, like you guys said. And then they play Cleveland, who literally in the wind – I mean, they have the worst passing game in freaking football because Baker sucks. The receivers suck. I do like the Austin Hooper call, though, just because tight end. I like that call a lot, actually, just because I wanted to find some sort of short dump-off type guy, and he's cheap. But, man, I mean, why couldn't they give us any good passing game versus Baltimore this week where we could capitalize on it? Because we can't capitalize on it. They're playing a team that can't pass, and it's in the wind on top of it. So we'll have to bookmark it, see who they play the next couple weeks. Maybe we can pick on Baltimore a little bit. This week, though, I can't do it. I will tease this game, though. Baltimore up through the 3 and the 7 and take those points because I think Cleveland sucks, too. I think Baltimore sucks, too, for the record, but I think Cleveland sucks worse. And I'll take the 8 or 8.5, whatever you can get in this game with Baltimore. DFS, probably the easiest fade on the board besides Hooper. I mean, Chubb, I would consider Chubb if he wasn't super expensive. Hunt's back. Don't know how you could possibly pay that price for him. So, yeah, fade for me, DFS besides Hooper. Baltimore teasers. That's it.
Yeah, I think the Browns win this game at home. I am not a fan of the Ravens. I think their defense, even though the win will help kind of hide the secondary, I think that's the best case you can make for their defense is the win will definitely make it easier for the Ravens to be able to play their more aggressive style, even with the bad corners, because 1, you're playing Baker, and 2, there's wind involved. So on top of both those things, it's going to make them feel a little more comfortable with their secondary in this spot. But I will just say I still trust the Browns ground game more than I do the Ravens. And I just think they're better in that area at home. I think the defense is better right now constructed. That secondary, some of these corners that were struggling earlier in the year for the Browns have started to play a little bit better. I do like the Hooper call that ODB had for DFS because he runs like literally 5 to 10 yards down the field and then just stops and turns around or goes out every time. He's like the safety blanket in the passing game. So he probably gets 10 targets, like catches 6 balls for like 50 yards or something like that, which is fine at his price tag. And then Jarvis Landry is going to run a ton of short routes, get peppered at 5'4". So I think you could look at him too with how bad the Ravens secondary is. Outside of that, I'm probably going to have nothing in this game. Agree with Tony. I can't play Nick Chubb with Kareem Hunt back at that price tag, most likely. But yeah, I got nothing from the Ravens side. I just don't like the Ravens here. I will be betting the Browns though in this spot. Let's move on. We got the Jaguars against the Tennessee Titans. Titans -8.5 here against the show favorite Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm saying the show favorite because nobody slobs on the Jacksonville Jaguars more than my show partners. I'm talking about all three of you here in Big T, Dunkel, and ODB. And they are the worst fucking team in this damn NFL. And I still haven't said his name, and it's been 4 weeks. Tony, what do you think of that?
I mean, we got the freaking Tennessee man on here with us too. I can't wait. I've been waiting weeks for ODB to get back on here about his boys. But this game, it feels like all these games are kind of ugly, which means I'm usually on the early games more, but this week I like all the afternoons. It might be maybe that's what we needed, JSU. We haven't had a big main slate yet this year. Maybe we needed some good afternoon games just to change the momentum up. And I just don't like these. I mean, who am I going to play in this game? And as far as betting, Jacksonville sucks. Tennessee, I don't love, but Tennessee needs to win. They're going to kill Jacksonville. I mean, it's a fair number for me, though. I don't want to lay 9 points with this team all that much. Maybe Dunkel or ODB can talk me into something, but I'll just keep the show moving, honestly. Definitely no DFS for me here, though. I really don't see. I mean, I've tried to make Foreman happen. They like Hilliard in the passing game a little too much. I just don't. I'm tempted to play Foreman. I really am. He got 19 carries versus the Patriots, 109 yards, and he's going to be completely unowned against Jacksonville at 5,100. The projections aren't going to show him doing anything. How many carries Hilliard get? Hilliard got 12 carries, 131, but the one was a long one. Man, I don't know. I could get back on the Foreman bandwagon. I think he's I got a soft spot for him, and he's 5,100 against Jacksonville, 19 carries against the Patriots, who have a great defense. I think I talked myself into it. I'm back on the Foreman train.
Yeah, I don't mind that call. I think, maybe if they're up to Tony, that means a little more work for him, less for Hilliard in the passing game. ODB, we need to take the Tennessee man. Give us the Titans take here.
I like Foreman too. I was actually going to bring him up. I think this is a good spot for him. I mean, I've been getting a lot of shit on Tennessee, like from the several places that I have conversations with every now and again. But I mean, I didn't bet on this Tennessee team. I bet on the Tennessee team that had Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and AJ Brown. That was 10-2 or whatever. I mean, this team is a shell of itself. But I mean, I bet on them regular season things, and I'm still looking good. I mean, I got basically a 3-game lead against the Colts. They just got to beat the Jags and the Texans, and we win the division, and it's fine. I'm hoping that the bye got him a little healthy. Is Julio still out?
I think he's going to be out still. Yeah,
still on the IR. I guess that could get undone anytime, but he's still on the IR.
I mean, I know he was on the IR, but I didn't know if it had been 3 weeks yet, and if
he needs to hang him up. I mean, Grampy needs to hang him up.
I mean, whatever.
That dude wants to go fishing. He's a fisher.
If he hasn't played in 4 weeks and he comes back, that's the time to get him, because he's still
get those fresh legs. Healthy. You're right.
Yeah. But I mean, Jacksonville's terrible. I mean, they just are. So, but I think this is just a run straight game for Tennessee, and I think Foreman can run straight and get a few touchdowns. I mean, they got to right the ship in Tennessee. I mean, so this is probably a good get right spot. Seems like a lot of points though, with not that many weapons for Tennessee, and Jacksonville has nothing to lose. So they're going to air it out, and who knows? I would lean Tennessee. I'm probably not going to play this game. I do like Foreman. I don't know if he'll be in, my final lineup, but he's definitely going to be in my pool of people I consider. I also want to see what McNichols' situation is. You know, if he comes back and now we got to divide it up 3 ways, that could hurt me. I don't really have a strong lean for the betting purposes, though. I might lean Tennessee, but I don't really have a strong lean.
All right, JJ, you have a strong take on this game?
I mean, it's a strong teaser spot. It is hard to imagine the Titans losing this game. One thing I'll say is that Trevor Lawrence opened his mouth that James Robinson should be getting more touches. I hope Urban Meyer benches him for it. And also, somehow, for whatever reason, Urban Meyer is rolling out AARP member Carlos Hyde weekly for half the snaps. And I just don't understand. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. So I get why Lawrence opens his mouth. I never liked that. Like, your quarterback more or less calling out your coach publicly. Just keep that shit in the locker room. But yeah, ultimately this team's been going nowhere. And it's a shame because you're right, ODB. This is not the team you backed originally. They're injured all over the place. And I don't know if they will get healthier by the time the playoffs come. But with that said, I mean, they lose this game, things get interesting in this division.
Yeah, they can't lose this game. They can't.
Yeah, ultimately they have to win this game. One of the main reasons why I like that teaser. Also, going without saying, this is off a bye for the Titans. A little extra week to prepare for a game like this. But yeah, this is a really good tease spot. Nothing else for me.
Uncle, do you see James Robinson? He was on, like, I don't know if it was like a local like sportscast thing, and they were asking him questions. They asked him, like, did you feel you got benched? Because they asked him it like the week before when they took him out and didn't put him back in for a while. And I guess he said no that week. And then this week he was like, yeah, I kind of felt like I got benched and whatever. And then he was like, they asked him like something about like playing in the, I guess he put him back in late in the fourth quarter when the game was out of hand. And they were like, what, like, why were you even in there at that point? And he was just like, honestly, I didn't even realize how much time left was on the clock. I just wanted to get back in the game. There were like times he said it. He goes, yeah, go quick.
I said, Urban said, he goes, well, you know, Robinson isn't 100%. And the reporter, you know, he's not healthy. He's not all the way back. He's still dinged up. And they're like, well, why are you running him on the last series when you're down 30? He's like, oh, I don't know. I don't really know our running back rotation.
He's a jackass.
He literally said, he was like, yeah, I tried to go in twice for Carlos because Carlos was asking to come out. He needed a blow. And they just kept pulling me back and telling Carlos to stay in. Twice he ran onto the field and they pulled him back because he was trying to go in for Carlos Hyde. That place is a mess. Like, just stay away. Jacksonville is a mess. Don't mess with it. Titans roll here. It's get right spot. I like the Foreman call. You could pick on him with the receiver if you want to take a Nick Westbrook Akina, but it's probably just running back defense. Move on from this game. It's just not a great game for DFS outside of maybe the running backs. Let's go to Seattle and Houston. This should be a really fun game here, Dunkel. We've got Seattle and Russell Wilson coming off a big win for them against the 49ers at home, I'm pretty sure. And now they go to Houston and face a Texans team. They're 7.5 point favorites here, 41 total. I mean, Russell Wilson to me still hasn't looked that great. Even in that win, I don't think he played very well personally. I think he also doesn't want to play for Pete Carroll. I think those two seem like it's just not going to work. Eventually something's going to happen where it's like, I go or you go. But for right now, they get Houston, and this feels like a spot where Russell could finally maybe cook. What do you think?
Is that me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was saying to skip this game. But anyway, what I don't understand, and riddle me this, the Seahawks at a robust 3-8 decided to throw everything and the kitchen sink at the 49ers on Sunday. And it just didn't make any sense. Like, they had so many more critical games beforehand that they did nothing. They were punting from their own 38. And then this past week, they're fake punting. They went for it on fourth down twice. And yeah, they beat the 49ers. And they're basically drawn dead. Jamal Adams is done for the year as well. Your boy JSU. So
remember those days when JSU would just suck him off on a weekly basis?
like a year ago, Tony.
I'll give it to you. It was a year ago for sure.
Jamal Adams is the greatest human that's ever lived. He
sucks in coverage now. He's a fucking shell.
There's nothing I like better than when he's running towards it and the ball just hits him right in the face because he doesn't even see it.
Oh God.
So I want to bet. Believe it or not, I really want to bet Houston in this spot. But I cannot bet Houston if Davis Mills is playing. I don't even know. He's, I think one of the worst quarterbacks this year. That's called Hike. And if he's their quarterback, I can't back this. The under is not a bad look because it's hard to imagine these teams score. And the Seahawks are going to go back to who they were, which is a team that runs HB dives all game long. And then on 3rd and long asks Russell Wilson to launch it deep. So I just think the game likely plays slow. The total is 41. I know it's one of the lowest totals in the slate. But this game has to play slow. If Seattle's done one thing decent this year, it's on the defensive end with their secondary. You can run all over Seattle if you want, but Houston's not going to be able to do that. Call it a lean on the under at 41.5, but I did not get the best number. So, I can't love that. And I think Seattle will be a popular teaser, but let me tell you something, Seattle could definitely lose this game. That's why I kind of like the Houston end of things. Davis Mills is so bad. Maybe Seattle's team total under might be the best bet. I'll dig deeper into this game, but Seattle team total under likely going to be a good spot to look at. Probably about 24.5, or a little less than that. But good spot there. Otherwise, pass.
I'm with the disrespect for Seattle. I like it, Dunkel. ODB, what do you think? You got some more disrespect?
I hate Seattle. I hate Pete Carroll. I think this team is complete trash. And I think they absolutely roll this Texans team. The Texans are terrible. And the Texans are worse. The Texans are bad. And I just feel like this might be just a spot where they just go out and they're like, you know what? We're just going to fucking pepper DK. And I think this might be the DK game. I think DK might be a slate breaker. He might be the 5% owned DK, and they're like, why didn't they do this all year? And he catches fucking 9 for 150 and 2 touchdowns or something stupid. This Texans team is terrible, but Seattle is bad. And like when a little bit better bad team plays a bad team, like sometimes it's like just their chance to stat pad. And I think that might be the case here. I think I like Seattle, and I think I like DK this week. Hot take. I don't know.
Tony, for me, it's like if I played anyone in this game, it would just be playing one of the receivers and hoping it, like ODB said, it's just kind of a big game for one of them, whether it's DK or Lockett. I still couldn't play Russ. Couldn't play anything on the Houston side, really. What do you think?
Yeah, teaser game for me. They're favored by 7.5. Easy to tease it down to 1.5. But man, DK, unless he gets rid of that pink hair, I have a hard time clicking that button. I can see it. I mean, anything could happen versus Houston, so I don't totally hate it. My worry is Seattle, when they get a lead, they're not going to want to throw. Pete, literally peels to running the ball up the middle. He pulls the sausage out and just gives it a great stroke, thinking about AP running up the middle for 20 times or something. So I can see it. I probably won't go to DK, but anybody against Houston, I definitely wouldn't laugh at it. So for me, just a teaser game. We can move it on from me.
All right, we'll move it on. We got to move it on to these late games. And I have a feeling that in these late games, we're going to find JSU's favorite game of the week. Maybe possibly the boys will agree with me too. And we'll get that game in a second. But we got to start with the Detroit Lions and the Denver Broncos. We'll get the shit games out first. Broncos, 8.5-point favorites here at home for Denver. 42 is the total on this game. So our boy Holden Kushner, who I love Holden, but I went on the twitter.com earlier today and he posted a nice little video. I haven't gotten to listen to it yet, but the headline says, Melvin Gordon deserves his usual role despite Javante's huge game. Right then and there, I stopped. I said, John, don't even click the link because that's just the most disrespectful thing I've seen on twitter.com all fucking week. Holden, get your head out of your ass. All right. Actually watch the fucking game and then tell me that Javonte Williams should not be the lead back. And then tell me that watch Melvin Gordon play and tell me that, oh yeah, Melvin Gordon should just, play like 55% of the snaps and Javonte should sit on the sideline for, more than half the game. Get the fuck out of here. That is the craziest thing I've heard all day. Holden, I love you. All right. You're my friend still, but I cannot handle that type of talk because it's just fucking ridiculous. Dunkel, I'll just go to you now.
So I agree. Melvin Gordon should not be taking snaps for the Broncos. Melvin Gordon should be feeding Javonte Williams Gatorade, feeding Javonte Williams bananas for extra potassium, keeping Javonte healthy because Javonte is their best chance to win football games. Now, as far as the spread goes for this game, so yes, the Lions hurt my feelings last week as a semi-Vikings fan. I wouldn't consider myself a fanatic, but a semi-fan. It did hurt my feelings, especially the Lions. Of course, I've been saying all year how the Lions have done everything they could to lose games despite games being close. And of course, they win the game against the Vikings. Where, by the way, Dan Campbell, you want to talk about getting off the hook? That 4th and 1 play was like one of the worst calls of the year.
I don't even get it. Like, what was he? I literally don't get it.
He couldn't. It wasn't even like if you get the first down, you win the game. Like if he did get that first down, he would have just taken off another minute and a half off the clock.
Yeah,
because they still had a few timeouts. Just didn't make any sense. Minnesota scores, and then Zimmer lets this team go underneath out of bounds for 10 straight plays. And Dan Campbell's off the hook, but Dan Campbell goes out of his way to lose this team games. And at some point, look, the emotional stuff's good and all, but once again,
the celebration they had was absolutely wild. They act like they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Jared, you would have thought Jared Goff, never won a football game in his life.
I mean, the dude was literally in the Super Bowl 2-3 years ago, whatever it was, and he was that happy to win one football game.
Dude, they punked him in that Super Bowl. It fucked his whole career up. He was done after that.
Yeah, so I guess there's a narrative here. Do you get a hangover game from the Lions? I mean, maybe. I don't know. The Broncos just are not very good, though. Teddy Bridgewater is a typically good quarterback to back when he's an underdog because he's typically good in those scenarios. As a favorite where you need him to win by basically double digits, not in love with that. Again, another teaser game. I don't know. I basically avoided Lions games most of this year. I've bet under their team total a few different times. I don't know. Maybe this team builds a little momentum. Maybe their locker room gets a little extra confident and plays well here. I'm not the biggest fan of this game in particular. Some of these we're going to got some good games coming up, but this game is going to be a pass for me.
All right, ODB, pass for you on this game, or do you like one of these two sides?
I would lean Broncos. I think that this is a bad matchup for the Lions. Defensive team that can get pressure on the quarterback. Swift, I assume, is out still. I don't think Detroit can score much on this Broncos team. I mean, this Broncos team basically shut out the Chiefs. I mean, they scored 22 points with a defensive touchdown. This Broncos defense, despite losing Von Miller, is still playing really well. They think they have a shot at the playoffs. There's a lot of weapons on this Broncos team. The Lions just aren't very good. I mean, they're really bad. I think they do suffer a hangover. You got to go up and play in the altitude. I think everything kind of lines up for the Broncos. Obviously, it's never fun laying over a touchdown with Teddy Two Gloves, but I mean, the Lions suck. Like they should have they lose every game. They should have lost this one. They should have lost them all. So I think that the Broncos can take care of business here, like a 27-10 type game. So I'll lean Broncos.
Yeah, it's wild. ODB, like it feels like since Von Miller's left, the defense has actually gotten better. It's actually looked better. Like to me, it's looked better at least. I don't know if that's just something that happened, if they've gotten better throughout the year. Vic Fangio, for all of his faults as a head coach, he's still his defense is his thing. I mean, he needs to go back to being a defensive coordinator, really, truly. But he can definitely get guys to play good defense. And Tony, ODB brought up another good part of his Denver take, which was they really did handle the Chiefs offense very well. You can make the case that the Chiefs receivers dropped some passes, 100%. Tyreek Hill dropped a few balls he normally does not, but Denver played them really well. Somebody told you that Vic Fangio plays Patrick Mahomes really well on the Showdown show on Sunday night. I hope some people listen to me. What do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, you were right for sure. And I've been right on a lot of these showdowns. I was wrong on that showdown for sure. You definitely get the victory lap there because you called it. They were very good. They were the much better team. I mean, the Chiefs, they're lucky to win what they won by. I mean, they were bad in that game. The Broncos were good. It was just Teddy Two Gloves is just so freaking bad that he just gave them a few gifts and just absolutely sucked. But this game's frustrating, man, because Javante's a lock if Melvin is not in the mix. But I have a feeling they're going to go right back to what we hated all year and play both of these guys 50-50. And if Javante's only getting half the work, we just can't. We can't get suckered in by what he did versus the Chiefs if Melvin's going to get half the work. We just can't. I want to do it just as much as anyone. But we can't do it if Melvin's going to be in there getting half the work. It's just a bad play, I think, even versus the Lions, because there's so many guys that are getting full work. Hopefully Melvin just gets ruled out or we get a report that he's going to play 20% of the snap, whatever it is. I doubt it because I know how dumb the Broncos are. They're just going to come back and go 50-50 or something. But
I'd rather just Melvin play and let people make mistake of playing Javonte,
which they will. You're right.
Chase that week because if Melvin's out, it's just going to be a lock button anyway. So we're not going to gain anything on the ground. We're not going to gain anything. So just play Gordon, let Gordon play, and let people just chase last week, and let's just move on and fade him. But
yeah, it's a great point because if Melvin's out, I mean the dude is going to be 70% owned or something. So great point. I mean, Melvin's in, people will still play him and we can just laugh at those people because Javonte, I mean, every week got 50%. He gets you 12 fantasy points. That's not going to cut it. I mean, half the work is not going to cut it unless he just breaks 2 to the house, which he hasn't done. As far as the game though, Broncos are nothing for me. Detroit coming off that Super Bowl win, I can't imagine they respond again this week. I think Denver might just pound this team. And I'm not a fan of Denver either. I don't think they're that great. But, man, this is a bad spot for Detroit. Coming off that win, going against Denver, whose defense is decent. Their offensive players are starting to get a little bit healthier too with some of these guys. Judy, Sutton's looking somewhat healthy. Fant. I mean, they got a lot of dudes healthy. So I think Denver might lay a little whooping here to Detroit.
Yeah, I think at the end of this game's going to end like 21-7. It's just going to be probably a boring game where the Broncos just jam it right down the throats of the Lions. That whoever's in at running back is going to run right through this Lions team. They're going to pound the ground game. Teddy's going to probably make a few decent plays and then make a dumb mistake at some point. But it's just a good spot for Denver. I think Denver crushes too. So I like Denver here. I think they get the W easily, win this game by, close to 2 touchdowns. So should be good to go. Let's move on to another game. Not my favorite game of these 4 o'clocks, but still, two very good teams in the 49ers and the Cincinnati Bengals. We got a close spread at 1.5 here. 49ers are favored, even though it is in Cincinnati. 49 is the total. So we got a 49-point total. I'm just trying to look all the games we've touched. This is the second highest total, I'm pretty sure, on the main slate here, guys. ODB, let's bring it to you first. What do you think of this game?
These are 2 teams that I never fucking get right. So I don't know. I mean, no matter what I pick, when I pick the Niners, they suck. When I pick against the Niners, they're good. Kind of same with the Bengals. So I like this Bengals team in general, and I don't like this Niners team in general. but I've just been wrong on both these teams all year. I would probably favor the Bengals. I mean, I wrongly laid the 3 points last week against the Chargers, and I do not think the Niners are 4 points better than the Chargers. So why would I not take the point and a half, or whatever the Bengals are getting at this point? So I would probably lean towards the Bengals, assuming that Burrow is pinky or whatever finger was wrong is okay. Maybe a little flop lag play if you wanted to for Ayuk, but assuming Debo's out.
I think Debo's going to play.
Okay, well, if Debo plays, then whatever. I don't know. I lean Bengals, but I don't have a strong take because I'm just terrible with these two teams. Some teams I really have a good feel for. These two teams I'm just always wrong on. So I'm not gonna stick my neck out with either of these two teams for a little while.
Fair enough. Dunkel, you got to lean on this Cincy 49ers game?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite bet for for this point in the week, really like this over the 48.5 number. So San Francisco is like a top 5 offense in terms of yards per play, like extremely quietly. What I liked last week was that Jimmy G proved and he does this at times where when they need him, he does step up. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kittle bailed him out quite a bit, but I mean, he got him the ball where it needed to be. And this team's run game is super efficient. They're the best running team in the NFL. And they don't even have a dual threat quarterback. Like the other teams that are nearly as good as them are, like Philly and Baltimore, teams that have a mobile quarterback in Arizona. But like it is impressive to watch this team's offense, and their offense travels. It doesn't matter. This game's a little later, which I think helps the 49ers having to travel here. There's some concern over Burrow's health. I did love the fact that Burrow looked like something. I don't know if he obviously didn't break his pinky, but whatever it came out with his pinky, he was in like noticeable pain. And he popped right back in. The next opportunity could come. Same thing with Mixon. Mixon like slammed his helmet, thought he was injured really bad. 5 or 6 game minutes later, he's back in. This team wants to win football games. And I think if you're using, your hard-earned money betting on teams, betting on the Bengals in these types of spots isn't a bad idea. You could tease this right up to 7.5 if you like the Bengals. To me, though, like I said, total makes a lot of sense. I think you're going to get a good back and forth scoring here. And like I said last week, the Bengals, especially their secondary, it is overrated. Herbert just blasted through this team through the air. And I think that the Niners being able to leverage their play action in the run game, Garoppolo is going to find success through the air as well. And then the Bengals side, I mean, not really much to say there. This team's got explosive weapons everywhere. I think this total is a little short. To me, this is a total I would have figured would have been in that 50.5, 51 area. 48.5 to me, this is quite a few points low. So really like this over. And I just think you get good scoring. You have two teams that play better offense and defense. Weather appears to be fine for the game as well. So yeah, really like the over at 48.5.
Tony, what do we got here? I know two teams that you like for sure. So what do you think of this game?
Yeah, I mean, it'll come down to Debo. Kind of ODB was talking about Debo. If he doesn't play, I love the Bengals. If he does play, I probably like the Niners. That's how much I think Debo matters. I think he'll play this week, but who knows? I mean, he's still questionable. I mean, we're filming this on Wednesday, so we'll see what happens. I do love it as a teaser either way, 1.5 up to 7.5, and I think there'll be points. I mean, you just look at the rosters. I think both defenses are kind of overrated. Tons of skill players all around the field. So, yeah, I like the over a little with Dunkel. I like a lot of these guys in the game. I mean, you can go back to Joe Mixon after he let us down last week. Eli Mitchell in a great spot. A lot of it's going to depend on Debo for me. If Debo's in, I like Debo. If Debo's out, I like Kittle again and Mitchell.
I think Mitchell's hurt. Isn't Mitchell out? Doesn't Mitchell have a concussion? I think he's out.
I mean, it's got a projection for him. Let me see.
Oh, okay, then I could be
wrong.
If
he's out, then
I could be wrong. I thought I read today that Mitchell was out.
I think he is going to be out. I think it's
a knee irritation in addition to a concussion.
Yeah, okay. It looks like he's not.
So who's going to – I definitely like the Bengals then if Mitchell's not going to play.
So the problem is can
probably like Jeff Wilson or –
yeah, I like the Bengals because Debo might not play too. Just to follow up, I put the 5 teasers up on the bet site. If you're watching this, check it out. But the Bengals are another one that you can get them at 7.5 right now with these teasers. And if Mitchell and Debo both don't play, I don't really understand how they're an underdog at home. I don't get that, I guess. But they did completely blow that game last week versus the Chargers. A couple fluky plays. Jamar Chase catches the 50-yard touchdown, but somehow drops it, and it turns into an interception. In the second half, there's like a weird fumble play that turned a couple just weird plays that killed the Bengals in that game. But I don't know. I didn't realize Mitchell was like that. So you guys bring up a great point. I like the Bengals even more than with those two injuries, because they could both reasonably sit in this spot. So I like that. I like the Bengals.
All right. I kind of like right now. I kind of lean the Bengals too, because even if it's a possibility that one of those two guys could miss, I think that's a big deal. With literally every running back outside of JaMychal Hasty is somewhat nicked up, concussions, knee injuries. I mean, you talk about it, this running back room has it. They're all messed up. They all got concussions, it seems like, or knee injuries. It's just not good for San Francisco.
If they somehow both sit, though, I mean, Kittle, I know everyone's going to want to play him after he crushed, but man, he's going to get peppered if those other two guys are out.
I will say George Kittle, when he's fully healthy, man, you can see a difference. Like, holy shit, that sideline touchdown.
How excited is BigT right now to roll out the Taysom Hill, George
it's going to be a good week. I said we're going to finish with some winners these last couple weeks.
It's straight to the workbench for Tony.
I need your mirror. Send me that mirror.
I need your mirror.
He's right, though. Just to be honest, everything's lining up this week for a fun week.
Oh, Big T's not even going to get off the Zoom. Like, we're going to get off. It's going to be meat beating on it.
Oh, I mean, imagine not playing Kittle if these two guys are out. And he's priced $6,900. What more could you want?
Wow.
No, he's definitely a stud. I mean, he's a good play in DFS for sure. All right, let's go. We got two more games to talk about here. New York Giants versus the LA Chargers. Chargers -10 here are the favorites. 43 is the total. ODB, I'll go right to you on this one here. Giants probably, I think, are going to be out without Daniel Jones. Again, he's doubtful. So it looks.
It's going to be Jacob Eason, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's Jacob Eason.
Jacob Eason?
Yeah. He got called up in the practice squad. I think he's going to start.
I thought it was Jake Fromm.
That's what I meant. Fromm. Whatever. One of those Georgia quarterbacks.
Yeah, one of those dusty ass dudes.
One of the UGA quarterbacks. Yeah. I don't think there's enough information known right now for me to have.
Fromm is starting. Woo!
I mean, it's Fromm, but I mean, what's going on in the Charger receiver room? Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both on the COVID list. If they're both out, then that's going to open up some cheap options on the Charger side with Palmer and Guyton. I mean, Guyton sucks ass, but whatever. You might get some targets. You might be able to get Parham, or I don't know. It's too early. Wednesday with major players in this game on COVID lists and injury lists. I don't really have a strong take right now. This Giants team's really, really beaten up. So I mean, the Chargers are in a good smash spot, but I don't know why. I just don't trust this Chargers team a lot. So laying a big number, I don't know. I don't have a strong take on Wednesday. There's way too many unknowns.
The coach did come out and say, just to clarify, that those two guys, Chris Harris and Mike Williams, who popped up today on the COVID list, they were close contact. So they've been still testing negative, I think. And he said, as long as they test negative for like a couple more days or whatever, they should be good to go. What about
Keenan?
Keenan, I think it's possible that he could still return for Sunday. He's not completely out. He is on the COVID list for sure. I think he did test positive, but I do think he has a shot to come back Sunday.
Yeah,
if he can.
Keenan's vaccinated, so whenever they're vaccinated, I think they only need 2 negatives.
Okay.
Right, they need 2
negatives. When do we just get rid of all this? When do we get rid of all this bullshit COVID
We don't need to go down this path because I think we're all on the same page as you, though. But it doesn't have a good ending for us to all start chirping about it.
No.
All right.
No,
Yeah.
we just
and
get
I'm
a bunch of
defending
hate.
anyway,
That's
so
what
whatever.
ODB you were talking about, getting more love than hate. Well, that would change it. We'd start getting more hate than love. Trust me.
I definitely think we all four are on the same page with it, but I just don't know if we should go down that path.
In this day and age, giving your opinion just it's a bad idea. So let's just stick to the sports opinions, and hopefully the people don't hate us for even having this 30-second conversation. So
Whatever, man.
So-
Whatever.
Tony, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, I think the Chargers are just a total lock. I don't like usually laying big points with the Chargers because of how they play. They always blow big leads. But, man, I just don't see how the Giants do anything in this spot with Fromm at quarterback, with their weapons beat up. We watched Brady just shred this defense, and then we watched a couple bad quarterbacks, I think. They played two bad quarterbacks the last 2 weeks, or maybe it was only 1 week, but the defense looked better against the bad quarterbacks, but now they get another good quarterback, and I think Herbert just shreds them. It would hurt if Keenan and Mike are both out. I do agree with ODB there. I wouldn't like it as much, but as long as they got one of them with Eckler, both of them obviously is even better than that, but I just can't see the Giants scoring. Like I could see a shutout here, actually. I wouldn't be shocked if we see a shutout. So I'm on the Chargers here, but DFS wise, I don't see a ton. I guess it depends on who plays. Again, it's Wednesday. If they all sit, I mean, it'd be tough not to play Guyton if they both sit. 3,400 for a guy that would be getting a lot of targets would be tough for me not to play. But we got to wait on the news. Obviously, it's a decent spot if you want to go there. And with all these afternoon games, it could be a pivot even if you struggle a little bit early. Maybe you play some Chargers guys or something like that. But we need more info here. We'll be back later in the week with more takes on this one.
Yeah, and just real quick, one other guy, Joshua Palmer at 3K, someone they liked in the preseason, has slowly, steadily come from not really playing that much to starting to get a few more, snaps at certain points towards the back end of this year, and someone that would definitely have a bigger role if one or two of these receivers were to be out. So just someone to think about here, 3K. I know Guyton's the first one, obviously, but Palmer, they like him, so they definitely will give him some run if one of these guys is out. So just something to think about. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm glad they priced the defense up. I was happy about that. I didn't want like the Chargers as a free D at like 3K. I was glad they priced them up to like 4.3. People are saying in the chat too, JaMychal Hasty is going to be massive chalk for 49ers. I didn't want to feel like, I guess we just skipped right over it.
What is it? Is he 4K or something?
He's 4K. He's probably going to start if Mitchell, who's likely going to be out with the concussion and stuff. What do you do with like the 4K running back in these type of spots, Tony? Just to give a quick.
I mean, if Mitchell's out and Wilson's banged up even a little bit, yeah, I mean, he's going to be a good play at 4K. He's going to get volume. It's too early in the week, really, for me to give a strong take. But, yeah, I mean, at 4K, with the way San Fran runs the ball, yeah, he will be a very, very good play.
I think it also depends on the slate a little, too, if we get a lot of value later in the week, because you never know with this COVID stuff and dudes just popping up, close contact. You don't know what type of news we're going to friggin' get later in the week. Yeah. And it's not going to stop this year. So I think that's why it's really important for you to just wait for the Friday injury report, because that's the biggest injury report. See who's in and who's out then.
Watch our show too, right?
Watch the shows.
The Friday News Burst show.
Yeah, Friday News Dump, 4 p.m. Eastern time. The boys go on and talk all the news. And then obviously the Saturday Millie Maker show, the Sunday Wood show, and the Up the Lock show. We got it all for you. So check it out. A lot of premium content too. So RunPure Sports RPS Heater 25 get you 25% off your first month's payment if you want to be a new member. And RunPure, Check us out. All right, let's get into the final game on the main slate, which is going to be the most popular game, most likely, because it's got a 53.5 total. And we all know in DFS, people go to the highest total games. 3.5 points. Buccaneers are favored at home against Josh Allen and these Bills, coming off that really rough loss where the coach was pretty much saying don't give credit to Belichick, and the defensive players were mad because the reporter asked them why are guys just so soft nowadays? The reporter was doing his job. I like, he asked you a question. Like, he literally said, are you embarrassed because you let the Patriots run all over? They ran on you 32 straight times. Like, what do you mean? Don't, like, oh, I'll remember that, the guy says. I forget if it was Hyde or whoever the other defensive. They were so salty that they asked them
I'll
one
defend
question.
the players a little bit, though. Like, what are they supposed to say to that question?
Say no.
Like,
say no. It's a football game. It was freezing cold. It was, just say the truth.
I thought it was
no,
kind of a dumb question, though. Of course, they're like pissed.
You know what what he should have said is, no, we're not embarrassed. They broke through and scored one fucking touchdown. If we could have had any red zone efficiency whatsoever on offense, we would have scored 3 times and the Patriots would have had to throw the ball and we would have beat them by fucking 20. That's what he should have said. But obviously he's not going to call out his coach. But I mean, Buffalo's red zone efficiency in that game was the problem. I mean, the play calls were atrocious. I mean, I know it's 4th and 15 on the last one, but kicking a field goal into the fucking wind with 7 minutes left, just hoping you get the ball back and then you can kick another field goal into the wind. I don't know. I mean, I really like McDermott and I really like Brian Dable last year, but I don't know what they were doing in that game. I thought it was terrible.
Let the run game get to them, I think. I really believe Belichick got in their head doing that, and they wanted to
why? They controlled the run game. Yeah, they ran the ball 38 times or whatever, and they ran for 200 yards, but 70 of it was on one carry, and the Patriots didn't even threaten again the entire game. So what? They ran it on them a bunch. They didn't do anything with it. They weren't meaningful runs. Yeah, they got some 5 and 10 yard runs, but they never even threatened the end zone the whole game. I don't even understand these takes that the Bills just got overmatched and all this bullshit. I just think I think the takes on this football game are terrible. I really do. I think everybody's takes.
Out-coached. I don't know if they got out-coached. I just think that their defense didn't really execute because they should have. No way the Patriots should have been getting 5 or 10 yards when they're running the football every single play. But there's just no way you can. There's no way you can tell me that Matt Milano and those linebackers shouldn't have been shooting those gaps the entire game, and they started doing it towards the end of the third quarter, and they started having success. And they should have been doing it the whole game. If you want to throw. Let them throw.
I just don't understand. Who cares? They ran from the 20 to the 20. They didn't even do anything. I just think it all just came down to the fact that their red zone play calling and the throws that Josh Allen made were terrible. Why he wasn't rolling out more and throwing shorter patterns. Why was Dawson Knox and Beasley not more involved? Why weren't they?
He wasn't throwing in the middle
digs. I don't.
So ODB, there was a reason. There's a reason though. Josh Allen was talking. He wasn't throwing in the middle of the field because the wind was so bad. He was thinking it would affect his throws more. But throwing to the outside is just as hard. It didn't make any sense. I don't understand why he didn't use the middle of the field. It was like the end game when Cole Beasley's wide open in the middle of the field, and he threw it to the outside receiver who wasn't open. I don't even understand it.
I just thought everything the Bills did offensively, deep in territory, and I'm listening to talk radio all week long, and it's all just bullshit. I'm a big Patriots. I've been a big Patriots fan my whole life. Now that I've started betting, I don't really have as much affiliation with teams, and I more just watch the games and bet. But get your fucking lips off Belichick's dick. He just fucking ran it from the 20 to the 20. They didn't have any red zone efficiency whatsoever. And the Bills, if they were just average at all, they just win that game by 20, and they force Mac Jones to throw the ball. I just thought the Bills were just awful in the red zone, and I'm just I'm just flustered by the whole game. And I just think that the takes, what are people watching? I just don't understand. I don't understand how you can watch that game and just think that Belichick just outcoached. He outcoached him just because he was terrible coaching, because McDermott was terrible play calling. I don't understand. Josh Allen has to have the ball in his hands outside. The guy is a beast. Just roll him out. And as soon as the coverage collapses on him, you dump it off to Beasley 5 yards and let him get his 10 yards, go down and do it again. I don't know. That game pissed me off.
I really hope that the weather isn't really bad when they come to New England, just because I want it to just be cold. Don't be crazy windy. Don't be a snow game. I want to see those two teams play when it's not just crazy wind affecting the game. And let's see if the Bills can get up. Let's see what the Patriots actually do.
I say run that shit right back. Give us some weather again. Run that thing right back.
Tony wants the weather.
Tell you what, that reporter, those reporters, they weren't harsh enough. They should have been like, you two just lost to a fat quarterback who attempted 3 passes. Maybe you both should hang up the cleats and maybe play local rec leagues instead.
I agree. I have no problem with the guy asking the question. I just think they should have gave it right back to him. They should have said, dude, listen, they had one big chunk run. Outside of that, we did our jobs. We just couldn't get up. Our offense couldn't get it done.
What was the final score? What was the final score? 14-10, 13-10? What was it?
14-10.
14-10, and they gave up one touchdown. I was just trolling before.
Yeah, you give up 14 points. I'd be like, don't talk to me on the D. We gave up 14.
Yeah.
How about when the offense comes out here, you ask them about the embarrassment.
Exactly. Ask Josh Allen about the embarrassment.
Yeah, they ain't doing that, Tony. That's
how about just Dawson Knox on the 3 potential big plays we had all game, and he dropped all of them.
Dawson Knox did hurt my feelings on that Monday slate with a few big drops. But
all right. Let's talk this game here. ODB, give it to us here. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I like both of these teams. I'm a Bucks fan. I like the Bills, and I like this game from DFS standpoint. I'm sure it's going to be popular, but Josh Allen. The Tampa secondary has been susceptible all year. You can't run. The Bills can't run anyway. What are they going to do? Throw the ball 85%? I can't even imagine the Bills even trying to run the ball. So it's just a matter of how efficient Allen's going to be. But if I don't play Taysom, it's going to be Josh Allen. I think it's either Allen or Hill for me at quarterback. And I don't know, just betting wise, because the Tampa offense is very, very efficient right now. And without Tre'Davious White, I think he's out for the year. That really hurts the Bills. Brady's on another level right now with his receivers. Uncle Lenny's doing great. I don't know. I could see anybody as far as DFS wise in this game. And I've tried to talk myself into both sides betting. So I might have a strong take at some point betting wise, but right now I keep going back and forth. I'm oscillating. So I don't really want to throw anything out there on Wednesday when I might be on the other side come Sunday.
All right, Dunkel, give us your take on this game. Obviously, 2 really good teams, somewhat of a close spread. What do you think here?
Yeah, I can make the argument for both sides, but I just want to go on record. JSU did skip me for the Giants game, so keep up the good work.
Did I skip you? Over there. Did I skip you, Dunkel? I think that's the first time I've done it all year in 14 weeks, going back and forth with all of us donkeys. And I finally skipped someone. I apologize, Dunkel. Do you want to give your quick take on the Giants-Chargers game?
I love you waited. You waited the whole Monday night tilt fest to bring that up.
It's fine. I'm not soft like those 2 Bills guys. As for this game, interestingly enough, the Bucks are just a nut first half over team, and yeah, I think that, believe it or not, I think Buffalo's offense, this is like a great matchup for them because you can always beat Tampa through the air. Buffalo is terrible at running the football. They've been terrible under this recent run they've had, or recent resurgence over the last few years that they've had. But as ODB said, this is all going to be on Allen's arm. So to me, if you're going to bet the Bills to win, just pound Allen's props over. Like it's not like the Bucs are not going to score this game. Like the Bills don't get a good pass rush, and that's ultimately the recipe to stopping Brady. So the problem is totals like 54 or 53.5, which those totals this year have been abysmal. If you've been betting overs on numbers that big, your 48 to 49 areas have been good, but in this mid 50 area, it's been a disaster if you've been betting overs. Again, that doesn't have any relevance to this game specifically, but just letting you know the totals at that number have been an issue. And then, like I said, for me, and if you're going to bet this over, I would do it first half because, again, the Bucs are just a nut first half over team. They get their defense gives up points, they score points, and I'm interested to see how this game plays out, right? Because if this spread is to move a bit, I wouldn't mind jumping this to 10.5. You're basically going to pay the same price to go from 1.5 to 7.5 that you would to go to 3.5 to 10.5. The idea that the Bills will lose this by practically 2 touchdowns is kind of silly, especially after a tough game they just had. And look, let's be honest, like Brady's been good against the AFC, and he's especially been good against the AFC East for years, but it's not like he's been great in these types of games in regular season, at least in his Tampa uniform. So look, I think you'll get Buffalo in a better spot. You'll get them in warm weather. You'll get this passing offense in a good spot. But I just think if you're going to bet Buffalo, instead just bet over Allen's props, his rushing and his passing, because if they're going to win this game, it's going to be on his arm and his legs. And look, he very well could do it for him here in a good bounce back spot. I'm just not sold on this Bills team. We know what the Bucs are, but the Bucs are a little overdue to have a bad performance. I feel like they've been obliterating teams the last few weeks again. But this will be the best game to watch all Sunday. I likely will not have a bet on it.
Yeah, Tony, this is the spot. We've waited weeks for it. Josh Allen in this Bills offense against this Tampa secondary. Finally, we pretty much just get a team that's a pass funnel. Like, their defense is so good at stopping the run in Tampa. And we get a team that is awful at running the football. I mean, if you watch Monday Night Football, you saw how bad they were at running the football. In that weather, they still couldn't run the football. And the Patriots actually give them decent looks too. It was kind of disrespectful at certain points. They weren't loading the box at certain points, and they still couldn't run the football on the Patriots. So the Bills, all they can do is pass, but that's how you beat the Bucs. You got to be able to pass the ball efficiently. I think the Bills win this game here. I think they go in and win this game. I love Josh Allen for DFS. He's my favorite quarterback on the slate. It's not even close.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this spot for 2 months, or longer, 3 months. It's been since the beginning of the year. Tampa finally faces a team that can throw on them, and Josh Allen's going to nuke. I agree with you guys. Diggs, Dawson Knox are my 2 favorites, but you can go. Gabe Davis has been getting more and more work, caught a touchdown. He's had a chance to catch a touchdown every week, but mainly, I mean, my main stack for sure, Josh Allen, Diggs, Dawson Knox. I absolutely love it, and I think they win too. I really Tampa's going to score, but Buffalo's for sure going to score. We finally got our afternoon smash. All year, these afternoon high totals have busted a little bit. This game's not going to bust because Tampa's going to score for sure too. Buffalo is going to march up and down the field on Tampa. I can't wait. We're finally going to get over the hump with one of these games because this is the perfect spot. I don't care how chalky it becomes by Sunday. I'm sure it will get some steam for sure because it's a really good spot, but I don't care. I'll get low owned somewhere else. These guys are going to crush. I like Uncle Lenny. I don't usually like Uncle Lenny, but I think they're going to be able to run on him pretty hard. I might play him, maybe one of the pass catchers too, but I really want to play Uncle Lenny with these Buffalo guys. And I love it. It sucks that it's Taysom smash spot versus the Jets is the same week, but I agree with ODB. 150 teams, maybe I'll play 75 Taysom, 75 Josh Allen. I wish it wasn't the same week because they are truly the 2 total nut spots for both of the guys. Perfect Taysom spot, perfect Josh Allen spot. The good thing is it's 2 different builds because Taysom's cheap, Josh Allen's expensive. So if you go half and half, you got completely different builds. But, man, this game is going to be awesome scoring-wise. Play the first half over like the uncle said. I like the Bills. I think the Bills win for sure in this game. It's like the worst possible matchup for Tampa. They don't want to run the ball. That's what Tampa wants to stop. Buffalo's going to go crazy here, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, and one other guy I really do like this week is I'm going to be heavy on Mike Evans. Tre'Davious White being out is a big loss for Buffalo, and hopefully people don't get on it. Chris Godwin's obviously went nuclear last week, and everyone knows that. I hope people, are more heavy on him. I'm going to take my shot on Mike Evans. Everyone knows that the Bills secondary is solid. Maybe they, try and stay away from it or go to Uncle Lenny, like Tony's talking about, who's crushed really the last couple of weeks. It's felt like I haven't played him any of those weeks and he's dominated, but hopefully this week, I think it's a Mike Evans week. I think he goes off, and I'm going to be heavy. That's going to be my bring back on my Josh Allen stacks for sure, is going to be Mike Evans. Maybe a little Rob Gronkowski too. He's from Buffalo. He likes to, I'm sure he loves facing this team, and he's just been so good. Like him and Brady, they've got such a good connection, especially in the red zone area. So if I don't play Knox in my Josh Allen stacks and I play like a Beasley Diggs stack, I could play some Gronk too. So those are definitely my two favorite bucks. Mike Evans one, and then Rob Gronkowski two. And then obviously the Bills guys are just all great plays. I'm going to be.
I got two fades though. As much as I like this game, I got two fades. I think Cole Beasley and Manny Sanders are both terrible plays. They're both going to get steamed at 5K, 4,900. They both have looked pure eyeball test. They've looked terrible to me the last 8 total dust. And the thing is, I love Diggs and Knox. I think they're just incredible plays. And Gabe Davis has looked better to me than Beasley and Manny for 1,500 cheaper. I'm totally fading. It's Wednesday, so I shouldn't take this hard of a stance. Maybe I changed by Sunday. I plan to fade completely Beasley and Manny Sanders and let the field play those guys, because those price points are going to pop in this high total and people are going to play them. They just don't look right to me. Like ODB said, dusty dudes. Play the good guys.
Can I ask, is there a potential here? I mean, I know it's risky not having Allen in there, but what about the fact that there's a lot of expensive guys, between Diggs,
Taysom with this game,
Godwin, and play Taysom with this game, and you just get all the exposure to this game, and you can put in multiple Bucks guys, and you get Diggs, and then you just hope that Allen doesn't have one of those 2 rushing TD performances and 3 passing, or he doesn't hit the Sanders or Beasley, and you just hope that you're on all the right dudes, and you can afford them all because you got Taysom. I don't know. Yep. Just a thought that could be a build.
I love that call, and it gets you different. It doesn't matter who you play. You can play 2 dudes both ways. I love that call, and it gives you a unique build. I don't think that anybody that stacks this game is going to have the quarterback. I mean, obviously. So if you play Taysom and he gets you, say Taysom gets 25 or something, it's going to be tough for a quarterback in this game to be more optimal than that, even if they get 35, because he's so much more expensive.
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna need that 40 burger probably at that
point.
Which
they could get in this game too, but I like the Taysom call for sure with this stack.
Yeah. No, it's the sharp way to go about it. Especially it gets you more money to play the studs, and it'll be different. So I like it. I'm gonna push back though a little. I think Cole Beasley's a good
You
play.
love Cole Beasley.
And
do love him.
I'm telling you right now, they faded. Josh Allen faded the middle of the field. That's why you saw less Dawson Knox, less Cole Beasley. You're not going to see that against the Bucks. They're going to use the short passing game to combat no running game. And Cole Beasley is going to have 10 targets in this spot. Maybe. And I think he has a good game.
Don't say maybe, ODB. Fight back.
Well, I mean, I was going to just say, he's faded Cole Beasley. He's faded Cole Beasley all year. I mean, just look at Cole's stat line. Like, he has 2 good games, and then everything else is just fucking
And
trash.
that was when Knox was out.
Yeah, it's all trash. I think with Knox in there, I like Knox, but
Knox is the new Cole Beasley. He just peppers Knox.
Just sucks. I want to play Austin Hooper, though. But I probably got to play Knox.
Play
Anyway.
the two. We just watched Whistles win another milli
Yeah,
last
play
week with
both.
2 tight ends.
Yeah. All right,
Treat
boys.
Dawson Knox like a receiver. If you think he is Cole Beasley, play him at the flex.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I got to roll.
All right, ODB, thanks for hanging out with us. All right, guys, that's going to do it as well for all of us here. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe on your way out. For me, JSU, Big T, Uncle Dunkle, and ODB, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys later. Good luck. We're out.
Peace.